It's doing great.
Oh, welcome back to the Radio Gamescast. As always, I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm joined by my lovely cohort of co-hosts, Alex and Alex.
Coming to you with slightly more refined jazz hands.
Which is great because we can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wyatt.
That would make them refined.
The special birthday boy edition of Wyatt as well.
It's me. It's just me again.
Yeah, just you.
Except I'm a little older now.
With the deep V. It's great.
One year exactly. Listen, I'm in lounge clothes today.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I had
You deserve
the birthday. I had the birthday blowout yesterday, and today was the recovery.
The recovery, and hey, I'm glad you're doing not actual work, but kind of work.
I'm in comfy clothes, and that's just what we're doing today.
Yep.
It's incredibly humid here, so I'm kind of the same.
Nice. It's Nintendo Switch thoughts on the brain. The Nintendo Switch 2 reveal is going to be on the 4th, I believe, of April, so very close. I could have gotten that date wrong, so let me check. But I do think it's very, very soon. This episode's the last one we have beforehand. Normally we'd do an April Fool's episode, but the timing of this is so weird that it's not in the cards for this one. So we're going to talk about Nintendo stuff, and I want to get us kicked off with a thing that we used to do on the show pretty often, which is first I want to play a game with everybody.
Oh my god!
Just a little game with everyone, because we were talking about Nintendo stuff. And that got me interested, so I installed Nintendo Today a couple days ago, and I just now have booted into it, and a thing popped up that I think is a great thing for us to start this discussion off with, which is Nintendo. When I go into Nintendo Today, I've just made my account, and it gives me a list of games, of game franchises that I can check if I'm interested in. Sort of a la any social media platform asking you your interests and whatnot. So I want to get from you guys what you think, which franchises are included on here. So we're going to go around the table, and whoever gets the last one, Jeopardy style, is going to be the winner here. All right?
So are we just saying one each?
Saying one each, and then we're going to pass the buck. So Alex, you asked the first question. You're first. We'll go through both Alex's and then Wyatt.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda's on there. Easy. Mario's on there. Easy. Pikmin is on there. Yes.
Metroid.
Hell yeah. We're getting further away from the known.
Is it separating the Toon Link from the Zeldas?
No. That is not separated. It's still Zelda.
It's just Zelda.
Let's go with Rhythm Heaven?
Rhythm Heaven is not on this list. Rhythm Heaven was a little bit of a leap. And also reconfirm it. So Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is the 2nd, which means it's going to be the day after this podcast airs. So very, very soon to our sort of predictions here.
I was right.
Very exciting. You were right, Wyatt. And it's also your guess.
Sometimes bullshit doesn't come out of my mouth. Most of the time it does. Smash Bros?
Now, startlingly enough, Wyatt, Smash Brothers is not on this list. I was waiting for that to happen. Smash Brothers is not on the list. Alex.
All right. I feel like you're all forgetting a really obvious one.
Probably.
There's a couple obvious ones left.
Absolutely.
Oh, Pokemon. You can't even see that. It's Pokemon.
The Pokemon is not on the list.
What?
Really?
Oh, all that talk.
That's Pokemon Company International. It's got its own holding company. So,
but 1/3 of that is Nintendo.
1/3, but not enough to make Nintendo Today.
All right, I'm humbled. You're all so much smarter than me. We've all missed one now.
Now we all have to burn in the loser pit.
There's 2 or 3 franchises still that I would consider Nintendo staples on most consoles. That you
got another guess. But...
Are there any? Oh, Are we still guessing?
It's your guess, Alex. Yeah.
Because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Labella, not wood. It's your
Ah,
turn.
Yeah.
okay. Ooh, let's
I love how we
go.
still have an issue with that.
Look, it's gonna happen
I-
with any virtual. Like
I
we
was
can't
I was in a
say that we're
work
looking at a
meeting
person.
with 4 Alexes like 2 weeks ago. It was bad.
Same
There's
all the
too many
time.
Alexes. Too many Alexes.
Oh my god. Oh god, this is still a stretch. I can't believe I've run out of ideas this early. Kid Icarus?
I love that answer, Alex. It is not on the list.
Yeah.
I'll also say there is one category on here that is not a game or like a franchise. I'll take a couple different answers for that one. We'll see if
Okay.
someone stumbles into it.
Okay. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing is on the
Oh.
list. Yeah.
All right. I don't think Nintendo owns this, but I consider it a staple for the console. Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem is on the list.
yeah.
Yes. Which honestly is surprising to me that Fire Emblem's on it, but Pokemon isn't. As much as I love Fire Emblem.
Yeah, because that's not an in-house Nintendo studio.
Yeah,
either.
that's a step further.
Alex, what you got?
I keep getting things wrong.
You got a couple
Dragon
classic
Quest?
franchises left. Did you say Dragon
Dragon Quest
Quest? That's
Yeah.
Square Enix, unfortunately. Actually, is it Square anymore? Not Nintendo, regardless. Yeah, they're not linked to a Nintendo platform. What?
Yeah. Oh, Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Oh
Donkey
my
Kong is
god,
here.
that's right.
Oh, separate from Mario.
Donkey Kong is separate from Mario. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, Donkey
Oh,
Kong
I
Country Returns, I want to say, just released on Switch. So
Oh, okay. Can I guess a non-game item that they have
Yeah.
on here? Is there a virtual console category?
I'll count that. There is a classics category,
Okay.
which I'll say
Okay.
virtual console is a good answer for. Right, Alex?
Star Fox.
Dwindling. Star Fox is not on the list, but it should be.
Oh my
Absolutely.
god.
Yeah, you're saying things
Absolutely.
they should be putting out content for that they're
These are
never going to.
suggestions.
The only
Alex
off-base
is playing
thing
a
you've said,
different
Alex, is
game.
Dragon Quest. Everything else has been completely what I would believe, but it's not here. All right, Wyatt.
Yeah. Kirby.
Kirby is on the list, and I'm
Ah.
stunned that it got that far with no one guessing it. Okay, we have 3 items left. 2 of them I would rate as pretty hard to guess. One of them, you guys probably just aren't thinking of.
Oh wait. I got
All right,
one.
Alex.
I got one.
Oh, is
Me
it
again.
on to me?
I
Sorry.
just guessed something.
Oh
It
yeah,
was the
did
same
Wyatt
order.
get to guess?
No.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
guess
think it is
Kirby.
Wyatt's turn.
Yeah, Wyatt guessed Kirby.
Oh, that's my bad.
so
That's
yeah.
fine. Okay. Sorry.
I was being gaslit on
I'm
my
gonna
own
go
show.
Take control.
I don't know why.
guys. Come on now. I can't believe I didn't think of this
Splatoon.
one earlier.
Splatoon is on the list.
Oh.
There you go.
Yep. That's what I had in mind.
Yep. Okay, the next 2 are pretty hard. I think I know which one's going to stump people first, but one of them, I don't know how many people here have played these games, but they're pretty well regarded. Think adjacent to Mario as a hint for that one. Alex.
Wario? Is that a separate genre?
It is. WarioWare
My
is a
God.
separate genre.
Okay.
So
Wow.
Wyatt, you have the opportunity to win here, the last category, and I'll tell you, unless you got a guess to go, this is a hard one. This is a hard one to guess, but it did release a
Okay.
game recently,
Oh.
within the last year. So
I really
I had
want
to
to
guess
see
for an
Mario
upcoming.
Kart, but I don't know if that's under the umbrella of
it's
Mario.
not separated. Mario is one
It's
thing.
not separated. Okay.
Bizarrely, the only separated thing from Mario is WarioWare.
That's fascinating. Okay, I'm gonna guess not a game.
Okay.
Nintendo like other hardware like Labo or Alarmo.
Another thing
sort
that
of
should
thing.
be on the list but isn't.
Okay.
All right, Alex.
This
you have
last
an
one's a
opportunity.
game though, right?
This last one is a game
So-
franchise.
It's a game.
You
okay.
said
It is a franchise.
said
So
this
there are
is
multiple
released
games.
released recently. I was gonna say Tamagotchi Life because they just announced the new one.
It is not
But,
Tomodachi Life,
I'd like it if there was another cooking.
which
one,
I
but
wish it was
alas.
Tomodachi Life. All right, Labella.
Is there? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, well, another one that I know it isn't is Professor Layton, but that should also be on there with all the games they have in that series.
Yeah, Layton would
Um,
be a good choice because there,
yeah.
but it's not. Yeah, Layton, I think you guys are aware, is not
Oh,
a high priority for Nintendo right now.
oh, Pikmin was said very early on, right?
Pikmin was
Yes.
said.
Oh,
In fact, I can rattle off the list if people want this to go off of. We've said Super Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, Pikmin, Kirby, Fire Emblem, Metroid, WarioWare, Donkey Kong, and Classics/Virtual Console.
I'm coming up with things that haven't had entries in a while, and I'm like, there's no way that like Kid Icarus would be in one of the
Yeah,
categories.
I mean, Alex guessed Kid Icarus, so no Kid Icarus.
God,
Yeah.
I have not been keeping up.
And
with
I'll
Nintendo
tell you,
enough to
Alex,
remember
this is
what-
a game that I know you are aware of.
Oh, that makes me hate myself more.
Or a franchise I know you're aware of.
Oh,
Is it one that he really likes?
I like most Nintendo
Or is that too much?
franchises.
I've got
Is that
two
not-
crazy answers.
I will say
Yes.
I don't think any of you have played a game in this franchise before.
oh God.
Well, except for
that I
Alex.
like that I
No.
haven't played.
I don't think Alex has played it either.
But you just said he likes it.
He is
Wait.
aware of it, yes.
Oh, okay.
This is completely mind-boggling.
You can pass if you don't have a guess, and just let
Is-
other
Can
people.
Can I ask another potentially spoilery question?
What I'll
Feel
ask
free
is,
to
do you
answer.
want the answer to this question while it's still Alex's turn to guess, or do you want to wait until after Alex's
Yeah,
guess?
ask the question. Why?
I have guesses. I have guesses.
I'll just say it because I want this to. I want to manifest it. Fossil Fighters.
Alex, I love that answer so much. It is not Fossil Fighters. I wish it was.
Oh,
That would have been amazing.
I'm gonna go a little wild because I'm pretty sure this is a Nintendo-owned property.
Yep.
Xenoblade.
It's Xenoblade Chronicles.
oh,
That was my guess
oh
too.
my God.
I was gonna guess.
That's why I
Xenoblade,
say
and then
Alex
if-
is aware of it, because I've been playing it in Discord constantly.
I don't know why that does not register as a Nintendo game to me.
Because traditionally
They don't make
it really wasn't, but
Do they?
Monolith Soft is now. Yeah, they don't. Monolith Soft makes it. Monolith Soft is now majority owned by Nintendo, though, I believe.
I didn't know
So,
that.
Interesting.
My last guess, if it wasn't Xenoblade, that was gonna be my guess as well. Was gonna be Bayonetta.
hey, great answer.
Not
And
bad,
kind of
not
on
bad.
point.
I almost wanted to say as a joke, Advance Wars, but I know that's never gonna happen.
That one crossed my mind too.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would have been good.
we'll just spin the knife.
So
Just
yeah,
twist
that's the
knife.
list. Which I want to say, there's some notable omissions from that. No F-Zero, no Star Fox. We're missing out on Smash Brothers, which
In
to
what
me is
universe would
Which is
F-Zero be on that
crazy.
list?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the reason I wanted to start with that game is to get people in the mindset for when we're talking about predictions, that these are the franchises that are listed with news, that have things to be said, according to
I mean, I
Nintendo
assume-
today.
How rude of them. They're
Interesting.
supposed to be releasing the new Professor Layton game this year, and there's not a news category?
No, there's no
Bastards.
news
Well,
category for
Nintendo
it.
doesn't own Professor Layton,
All right.
but neither do they own a couple of those items.
Yeah, I think they're stakeholders in all of these companies. I don't believe they own some of them. Although Fire Emblem, they might own one of the Fire Emblem studios. Because Fire Emblem's been done by a couple of groups, but Intelligent Systems itself, I think. Yeah, they may not be owned by
Oh, does
Nintendo.
Intelligent Systems do the mainline games?
Okay, well, they're headquartered at right next to Nintendo's building, so they might be the same.
Ah,
They were headquartered at the Nintendo Kyoto Research Center, apparently. They might be proper first party, I think. It's just hard to know with Nintendo because their naming system is weird. Monolith
looked
Soft in
up
particular is a
I just looked up
oddball
something
there.
that made me very, very sad. Speaking of Advance Wars, I was curious. It's like usually when you get like a re-release or a remaster or whatever of an older franchise, that's usually a test to see if people are interested, and then they like develop a sequel or a reboot or whatever. So I was wondering how many
Mhm.
copies Reboot Camp sold, and apparently it was not great.
Yeah, I
said,
remember it not being great. And to
Which
confirm, actually, Monolith Soft fully owned by Nintendo. So
oh,
uh,
okay, there you go.
everything on there is a Nintendo first-party company, at least first-party IP, because they've definitely, like Mercury Stream has done a bunch of Metroid before, which is not technically a Nintendo company. But I don't think anyone would say they weren't first-party if they were doing Metroid. So it definitely is a little confusing
the
with
game
Nintendo
is
stuff.
owned by Nintendo.
Yeah, the IP that's being worked on is owned by Nintendo. All right, that's our starter game. Let's jump into the Direct that just happened. Because Nintendo came out swinging and surprised us with a Nintendo Direct that they specified was not Nintendo Switch 2. This was on March 27th, so just a few days ago. They dropped a Direct with a bunch of games. Most of these games we either knew about or are not maybe the highest of profiles, but I'm still really excited for a lot of this stuff.
Weird timing for a direct, I have to
Super
say.
weird timing. And I want to put this into perspective too, because this is a weird one because we don't know what the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is going to look like. We know it's happening and we know the date. We just don't know like how long it's going to be, if it's going to be hardware and games, which presumably it would be. But maybe this means that they're focusing really heavily on first party, completely like first party, big names, and not third party stuff.
I think it does make sense to split it out, though. I'm happy they're not crowding one direct with conflicting sort of info. Not conflicting, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, this is also a good sign that I think everything in this Direct is presumably coming to Switch 1 as well, and is not going to be Switch 2 exclusive. I don't think they say that anywhere, but oh no, upcoming games for Nintendo Switch. There's no updates of Switch 2. So yeah, I would assume everything that's talked about here is Switch 1 compatible fully.
One would assume, but it's hard to say with
And funnily enough, Alex, they start out with Dragon Quest. Just
That's
for you. They started with Dragon Quest. Which yeah, I like. I like the look of Dragon Quest 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool
I
to
like-
know it's coming this year.
I like how at the very end of it, when they do the titles, they have it as Dragon Quest 3, and then they separate the Roman numerals into 1 and 2.
Because Dragon Quest 3 is a weird one where 1, 2, and 3 are a trilogy, but 1 and 2 are after 3. So they kind of went back and I think did the 3 remaster first, so that 1 and 2 could be added in later, essentially.
Also, love the art style for that.
Makes sense. It's I think one of my favorite interpretations of the like HD 2D art style because it's really bright.
Oh yeah.
That was always my problem with Octopath, is it ends up looking really washed out. Although I think Octopath 2 is way better than 1 about that. Otherwise, I think a lot of HD 2D games have not used the color palette that pixel art brings you. But then another game right after that I'm very excited for. No Sleep for Kaname Date from the Eye of the Somnium Files.
Yeah.
Very excited that we're getting a third Somnium Files game. I think this one definitely looks lower budget. This seems like a like mid-level title, essentially AA. The series is already kind of AA, but it's using a lot of assets from the first game. It seems like it's focusing a lot of the characters from the first game and not necessarily the second. So I think this will be a fun follow-up to that. Yeah, very excited. Another one that made Brett go insane, I know, was the Raiden Remastered reveal. This is one of his favorite PS2 games, I believe, which is like an action Shin Megami Tensei style detective game.
Wow, so many detective games in a row. And by so many, I mean 2, but hey.
a lot for detective games.
A lot for detective games, and maybe Shadow Labyrinth is a detective game too, somewhere deep inside. We don't know yet.
Although I'm not confident.
Not gonna say I'm confident about that fact either. But I think it is a very interesting looking game. I think Shadow Labyrinth for being a Pac-Man game.
So, okay, I have a question, and I don't think we may not get an answer to this. What came first, this game or the secret level episode?
I have to imagine it was secret level, right? Like because this, it's so insane that
I wonder, because I don't know the timeline of either this game's production or Secret Level's production. But I
Yeah.
wonder if, because they had to reach out to all of these companies, these like, studios, publishers, whatever. And they were like, hey, we got this wacky idea for a Pac-Man episode. What do you think? And they were so terrified that they were like, what the heck is this? But then they responded, we're like, we love it.
I'm like, I want to know what the boardrooms for this game
It's
slash
so
episode were, because it's so crazy to me. Yeah, and like it looks good. It looks
It doesn't
legitimately
even-
very good.
Yeah, it might be the best. What might be one of the few that's a good adaptation of a show or movie or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And it reminds me of Grime, which is a very cool Metroidvania. That
Yeah.
is great. I think Shadow Labyrinth is looking similar to that to me. That great game. All right, Patapon 1+2 is coming, which is cool to me because I like rhythm games.
Mhm.
I've never played Patapon. It looks neat. It was on a bunch
So
of consoles that I
here's-
didn't own.
So here's a plot twist for you. I've played Patapon 2 before.
Yeah. What's your take?
It was a game that you're not gonna like it. It was a game that I got for the PSP back in the day. I think one of my I think my mom got it for me, and I thought it was I loved the idea of it, but I think my stupid child brain couldn't quite figure it out, so I didn't get very far.
You couldn't
And I didn't really play it.
Patapon?
I couldn't. I didn't get it.
Pawn
I think if you gave it to me
Patapon?
now, I think if you gave it to me now, because it's a great idea. I think if you gave it to me now, I could probably figure it out.
Well, they're
Back
giving it to
then,
you now.
I was a Dumbo little kid, and I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
It's kind of what
Alright.
it comes down to.
Looks cool. I don't know if I'll play this on release. If I hear good things about it, I probably will. But there's a lot of games, and that's relatively low priority for me. But what isn't low priority for me is Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Because this is... So Story of Seasons, for those who don't know, is actually... I keep forgetting the actual name of the old series. Harvest Moon. Because I translate it to Story of Seasons now. Basically, there was a bunch of drama between the companies behind Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon. The Harvest Moon company got bought at one point, and all the developers went to a new company, which is the company that currently makes Story of Season. So if you want a Harvest Moon style game that is the old school style of Harvest Moon, you want Story of Seasons and not the new Harvest Moons, which are made by a different company that are typically not as good. They're usually pretty rushed, not great. Story of Seasons is the actual Harvest Moon folks. It's generally, I think, well received. My thing with Story of Seasons is why I've never played a Story of Seasons game is that I think they generally look terrible. Like, I think they often just pick really unappealing art styles. Normally that I'm not super sensitive to that, but when it's a thing of like when you have Stardew Valley and like Animal Crossing to compare yourself to, I think you got to end up looking pretty good, or at least having a
visually
distinctive
distinct.
style.
I'm a big
And-
fan of the cows in this.
Yeah, Grand Bazaar to me is the first one that has a real strong style. Like I think it's actually got a really good sense of the aesthetic that it should have. It kind of reminds me a lot of like Ni no Kuni, and that's a very good comparison to be made, I think. So I'm just excited about it. I think it's a cool looking farming sim, and I'm gonna be excited to try it when I get my hands on it. Next we got the big boy, which is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
See, you say that. I'm kind of surprised there wasn't more time dedicated to this. They
It
probably want
got
to
the
show off
most
more
time in
for
the
Switch.
show.
not
But
as
yeah,
much as
not
I was
much.
expecting.
What I'm wondering, Wyatt, is if we're going to see this again.
I think we're going to see this at the Switch 2 reveal. I think we're going to see the direct. We're going to see more. I think.
Yeah, I
Which
wouldn't be
makes me wonder
surprised about
why it's
that.
even here to begin with. Maybe just to drum up interest for the Direct in the first place.
There's like drumming up interest and just confirming that it's on Switch 1 as well.
Yeah.
Just reconfirming that for people. I think this looks cool. I think they... I don't love the trailer going about psychic abilities, and then they tell you the most fun things you can do with it are open doors. When they're like, the gameplay on screen is clearly more engaging than that. But he's like, you can open doors. And I'm like, okay. Could I not open a door with my hand?
I also suspect that this game is going to be used in a small way to compare performance between Switch 1 and 2. It's like, hey, this is available on Switch 1, but as a one-to-one example of how much better Switch 2 is going to be, here's a side-by-side or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, we were also talking about Xenoblade, and one of the things that a bunch of data miners found in Xenoblade Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which I've been playing and is fantastic, by the way. I've played the original version, and this version is so much better. Is that the game has a hidden 60 FPS mode that they're guessing is going to be the Switch 2. So,
man, if I could, I
think that'll be a really good comparison.
Tears of the Kingdom at 60 FPS.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh my god!
If I could play Tears of the Kingdom at a stable 30.
Listen, to me, 60 FPS should be a minimum, unless you have a game that requires an art style that kind of requires 30 FPS, something like the South Park games. But to me, it's like 60 FPS should just be like a non-negotiable if it's on console, in my opinion, or at least have a mode that has a 60 FPS.
Yeah, but it's hard for Nintendo Switch because I imagine the console would creak to a dying scream if it ever tried for a lot of things.
A little smoke would come out, screen would go black, and that's it.
Yep, that's the end of the Switch. Although I will say, Xenoblade X, to its credit, is probably the smoothest 30 FPS game I've played on Switch. It has not been dropping at all, which is not great. But I think that reflects more on other games are often not paced well compared to it. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4 looks really cool. I'm super excited about this. I think it seems. Yeah, the like aesthetic of this area is super cool. It kind of reminds me of God of War not Ragnarok, 2018 had that cool like elf area. Kind of matches that look. I think this looks great.
I will say one thing I like about the look of this, because I have been playing the Prime remaster, and I've been really enjoying it for the most part. Although I am running from memory, I haven't played it in a bit. A lot of the areas felt very boxed in and didn't have a lot of like nice kind of wide open spaces or nice vistas.
For sure, I love the Prime series, but most of the first three are very boxed in.
Whereas this, you get some beautiful landscapes, which is really nice to see. And even if it doesn't serve a gameplay purpose, it feels like a space is bigger than it actually is. I've always said Naughty Dog is really good at that as well. And I just, in terms of feeling less claustrophobic, it helps so much. So it's nice to see that they're trying to lean into that more here.
Yeah. No, I like it a lot. All right. So that's Metroid Prime 4. I'm sure we're going to be talking more about this probably next week or the week after. We can talk about the Switch 2 Direct. Next, they showed Disney Villains Curse Cafe. Not my jam, but I'm sure some people are going to love this. Nothing about it looks bad. I think it just is not. I don't know. I'm not that nostalgic about the Disney villains that I need a cafe simulator.
I will say, I think it looks kind of pretty.
Yeah, I love the art.
Yeah.
The art looks great.
I will say I was not. It was so funny. I was like, oh, it's going to be like a potion game. And then, what's her name? Ursula shows up. And I was like, what? What?
Yeah. I was really surprised by that one because I missed, I like looked away and missed the name of the game. And I looked back and Gaston and Maleficent are sitting next to each other. And I'm like, what's happening?
Well, my initial reaction was like,
and Jafar, your namesake.
I was like, wow, that looks a lot like Ursula. Wait, whoa, what?
Yep. All right. Next was Witchbrook, which I think looks super cool. Witchbrook
looks like another cozy good time.
Yeah, this is the Chucklefish game. Chucklefish published Stardew Valley. They have really, really good art style with this one. I think that this is probably the most appealing looking wizarding school game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think just the pixel art's beautiful. It gives me a big like Kiki's Delivery Service feeling,
Ooh, yeah.
which I think
It's
is
one
a
of
very
those
good
like
comparison.
it's one of those examples of a pixel art style where you don't have to lose any detail in your environment whatsoever.
Yeah, like
It
this
just
this
it
definitely
has
feels like it was a choice very deliberately.
there's a lot of little details that kind of pop out that look very, very pleasing.
Yeah,
So,
gorgeous looking. I want to know more about how the magic system works because they kept saying you can cast spells and stuff, but I don't think they really showed much of it.
No, not
What that
really.
actually looks like. I think they showed it one time, but I kind of want to see more of that just to know like what that actually looks like. Because I'm totally down for another cozy game, but spoilers from when we do the game. Oh no, we already did the Homestead Arcana one, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think when you just kind of use it as a supporting thing, it doesn't really end up helping your game. So I really want to see them incorporate that in like the school stuff, and I wonder how they're going to balance that with the cozy things. So I'm definitely going to be playing this. I think absolutely this is right up my alley. Okay, Eternal Life of Goldman.
Speaking
got
of
shown off.
beautiful looking games,
Looks really
holy
cool. The art for
crap.
this is amazing.
Yes. I've actually been keeping my eye on this one because this has been shown off quite a few times over the past year, I want to say. But goddamn, it's gorgeous. Holy crap.
Very, very pretty in motion.
Yeah. And it looks like a really solid looking platformer. I love the idea that you're an older man and you use your cane as a pogo stick. I think that's so charming.
Yeah.
I know they
Just the
never really went
backgrounds are
away,
great.
but I'm kind of glad that I feel like recently we've been seeing a lot of good-looking, or good when it released, platformer games.
Yeah, for sure. Gradius Origins. This is a collection of Gradius games. Cool games. Really, I think for
There's
the
one new
Gradius
one.
people.
And a
Oh, there
one,
is
yeah.
a new one. Yep. Looks
I've
neat.
been kind of looking into some 2D kind of arcadey space shooters recently, so this is kind of perfectly timed.
Yeah. You get your Gradius on.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a Darius Burst fan myself, but it's a joke that
I'm
no
just
one
a
here
big-
gets because they don't play shmups.
I'm a big fan of old games being available. So
Yeah.
even though I'm not a fan, I'm just happy to see it and accessible.
I'm always happy to see collections and re-releases of yeah. Especially it's nice to have it on Switch where it's like a wide reaching platform, but also one that's portable as well.
Yes, for
I
sure.
can actually run these older games without issues. Well, mostly.
Generally speaking. Rift of the Necrodancer being on Switch is super cool. I was actually just planning to pick this up soon because I really want to play it. And I think Switch is a really good spot to play this on, probably. So I'm looking forward to that. Next we got Tamagotchi Plaza, which is a Tamagotchi game where you work in shops. I think is the...
We forgot to mention the fact that the narrator guy keeps saying Tamagotchi weird during
Tamagotchi? I was going to bring that up because it really bothered me.
It's objectively wrong.
It had me question it. I'm like, have I and everyone I know been saying this wrong for like
Now,
20 years?
I think we have been, because Tamagotchi, I'm sorry, is a Japanese franchise, and Tamago is egg, and you say it go, so it would be Gochi, but I just don't like it. So I'm not going to say it that way. It'll be Tamagotchi
like,
forever.
And it's gross.
I hate it, and it's
Everyone
gross.
in America I've ever met says Tamagotchi, so that feels like
To the point where
that's how
hearing
you say it in America.
Tamagotchi, even though I can speak a decent amount of Japanese, was so surprising to me that I had a really visceral reaction to this trailer.
It kind of activated that Aang versus Ong thing.
Yeah, except I know I'm wrong. I know that objectively, I'm not saying it correctly, but I don't care, and I will continue to say it wrong. All right. Next was Pokemon Legends ZA, which I think the gameplay of this looks cool. I'm definitely gonna play it because I'm a Pokemon boy, and I need my Pokemon.
they confirmed the late 2025, so I will be losing a boatload of points.
Well, I
Ryan,
mean,
stop-
Scarlet and
stop
Violet did
me.
not score that well, so we'll see.
Ryan, stop me, because I've been in such a Pokemon mood.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about this too long, I could spend an all episode on this. But I've been playing a lot of the original Legends Arceus.
Which is one of the better
Really, really
games they've
liking it.
released recently.
Really, really liking it as a not complete reinvention, but different take on
Reimagining,
the
maybe.
Pokemon game. Yeah, and I think it's really, really cool and really interesting, that game. And this looks very little like that game, so I'm really curious. And
In a good or a bad way? What?
I think in an exciting way.
Well, I was assuming
I'm-
that Arceus was not really going to have like or the Arceus games were not really going to have like a set structure. They were just kind of like
They're
experimenting.
experimental titles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's yeah. But I really like the previous one, so I'm really curious to see where this one is going. And it makes me a little nervous that it doesn't look similar to the last one, but
I'm actually
you know,
very
I think it
excited
could-
about it. Not
Honestly, I
looking
feel
similar.
like any experimentation in the Pokemon formula is going to be received at least well because of how stale I think.
Yeah, those guys are
the original
desperate.
Formula is.
We also now,
The
like,
fans are
your
Yeah, I
Pokemon
really-
can dodge now. Like, you can actually do the things they do in the anime in this game, which I think is very exciting.
I'm excited.
Shocker.
I'm really excited
What a
for that.
concept.
I
You're
really
actually
like the
yeah.
variations on moves they had in the last one, where you can be like, you're gonna do this faster. And shit.
Also, gotta say,
felt-
Mega Evolution has and always will be superior to Terastallizing and Dynamaxing.
Oh,
So
God,
I'm glad we're
absolutely.
just back to
What are
Mega
these words that you're
Evolutions.
saying?
I feel like terrestrializing is like mechanically the most interesting, but they gave it the worst god awful.
Yeah, Terastallizing is
design.
better than Dynamaxing, for sure. But Dynamaxing to me was like a really lazy cop out of a system. But yeah, I think a lot of stuff about this is exciting to me. I think the biggest problem still is like Game Freak's inability to create a game that looks good. And, yeah, I think Legends
Look,
EA
this
looks
is-
fine. Like I
This is
don't.
likely gonna be a pickup on day one or week one for me,
Oh, same.
but I'm really looking and really hoping to see how this looks when the Switch 2 comes out.
What I'm wondering with this one too is if it's gonna be releasing post Switch 2 launch, because I don't think we have an actual release date for this yet.
It says available
They
late.
said
2020.
late.
Yeah, it just
Which-
is like
I don't know. My assumption is that the Switch 2 is probably going to be out by then, but I don't know.
My assumption is realistically mid 2025, but I guess maybe at the tail end of early 2025.
I'm thinking
Seems
they'll
my
at
guess.
least aim for a pre-holiday release.
when's the last time Nintendo
But-
delayed a game?
It's been a while. They've done
We
it,
also-
though.
Metroid Prime 4 has been a continuous.
But that like
behind the
restarted
scenes
development,
delay.
and since then they haven't really given a date again.
Yeah.
I
Did they
God.
delay Tears of the Kingdom?
don't think
Am I
so.
remembering that?
Maybe
correctly?
ever
Oh,
so slightly.
I don't remember it being delayed.
A
but I
lot of
could be
these
wrong.
games they also don't release or reveal until they're ready.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nintendo tends
I
to
think
sit on things.
Pokemon is really their only game that they try to hit with any schedule, and I think it's kind of suffering for it. But that's a whole
Oh,
nother
absolutely.
episode.
Although it's had a pretty decent amount of time recently, where they've not been doing the yearly releases.
Yeah, they also like farmed out the last remake they did.
Well, it was in one of those situations where, like, I mean, yeah, the yearly schedules seem to be really hindering the game, quality in some way or another. But they kept making money, so it's like, well, we don't really have to stop as long as they keep making money. But I think it
'Cause
seems
I think
like
the
last
problem
couple
now
releases.
is they're realizing that the public opinion has been a little bit split, and if they keep going negative, it's going to affect like merchandising as well. Where like people buy Pokemon plushies because they like the Pokemon, and to do that, you have to make Pokemon that they like. And
Well, I mean, the
game's
last couple
good, so-
entries have been getting more pushback than normal. So I think that was
Yeah, that's what
kind
I
of
mean.
the sign. Yeah, that was the sign of like, well, shit, I don't think this is working anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near like at
I
risk
think-
right now, but I do think they're kind of
No,
realizing
no.
they gotta push it up a bit.
I think to a certain extent, this is pure speculation. Game Freak maybe tired of it as well. Maybe not necessarily Pokemon as a whole, but like I know for a while they were trying to do other franchises, and Pokemon was actually like their back burner item, and
Yeah, they did Little
Pokemon
Dragon
rakes them in the
Cafe.
money though.
Which is
But-
unfortunate because the games that they released in those side things were just not super good.
Yeah, they
I would
released
say.
something not too long ago.
They did
I-
Little
I
Dragon
also
Cafe
just
and they
feel
did one
like-
more thing.
I'm hoping that like the Legends games and whatnot, they can kind of,
Is this what I'm thinking?
not feel as restricted by the Pokemon formula, and we can get both. They can develop something they actually want to work on and make
Yeah.
a good product because of it, and consumers get something that's fresh and new and good.
I was thinking of Little Town Hero,
Oh yeah.
which, like,
Ah.
from what I remember, was like not received very well.
Oh, I'm mixing.
It
I
just-
said Little Dragon Cafe. I did mean Little Town Hero and not Dragon Cafe. That's a different game by a different company.
Because I remember noticing that, and I was like, oh, they're doing something not Pokemon. Let's see what happens. And then
Yeah.
I saw the reception was very, not great.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think ZA looks fun though. I think the combat system looks really good, and I'm excited for an urban region. I think going back to the XY urban area.
Yeah,
is
I'm really
fun.
curious to see because I'm not sure if I'm understanding correctly, but it seems like they're implying or stating outright that the entire game is going to be in the city.
I
which
think that's the
will be
implication.
interesting.
Like it, since that was the only
I think it'll be
map.
interesting to see an expanded version of that city because really in X and Y you get
It's a circle. It's
a
one
a
circle.
big circle
Yeah.
and like a cross in the middle. Like
Yeah.
I mean, but that was
No,
a DS
I'm-
game, so obviously they have a pretty big difference to work with here.
No, for someone who doesn't play Pokemon games, I'm kind of glad the Legends games exist because it really does seem like they're in a lockstep pattern with Pokemon, and this is like them expressing some more ideas that they've probably cooked up on the side or in incubation teams or whatever for a long time. That's the impression I
Yeah.
get. Do I actually know if that's the case? No, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So I like that it seems like they're not being quite as restricted by the Pokemon schedule.
Yep. All right, moving on. Our next thing, near and dear to my heart, is Rhythm Heaven Groove.
Yeah.
Which this
So
is one of the,
I've never heard of Rhythm.
I
Well,
suck
I've heard
at
of
this
Rhythm
game and
Heaven
I love
via
it.
Ryan, but I've never seen Rhythm Heaven like gameplay before. So I was watching this and I was like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck is
Yeah,
happening?"
it's just fun, it's just fun little stuff. It's like WarioWare, but for people who have any sense of rhythm, which I don't, but I still like it.
no, I think this trailer was really weird. I do think the trailer
It
was
felt very
weirder.
uneasy. I felt like it was about to turn into some like psychological horror game at any second.
And I wouldn't have been surprised. But like overall, I'm very excited about this game because I think Rhythm Heaven's super fun franchise. It's been ages since we've gotten one. I think the Switch is a good platform for it, so I hope it does well. Not much else to say about Rhythm Heaven. You hit a button to the time. That's basically. Next was this whole virtual game card thing.
I want to take a poll. Before
I'm
we
really
begin.
Yeah.
Did anyone else, upon hearing it for the first time, not understand it?
Oh,
I
for
was-
sure.
I was like, wait, what? Like I didn't get it at first.
It's because it's an Nintendoism that this is overcomplicated and a little bit.
Absolutely.
I don't want to say poorly thought out, but it's just like a weirdly complicated system for doing a thing that's pretty basic in
Oh
actual
crap! I was
terms.
muted. Yeah, no, I'm very weirded out by it.
I think it's a great idea. There was a couple of things they said about it that I was like a little
Is
thrown
this how
off
we want
by-
this to work? The fact
Look,
that it's you like send it to a family member for 2 weeks at a time is a weird like.
I get that they can't make it
Arbitrary.
permanent. So like
But it also means like you don't have access to it for that 2 weeks. It's not like if you have a friend who has it installed, you just can't play at the same time. You lose access to the thing for the 2 weeks, if I'm understanding this correctly, because I could still be not understanding.
It sounds to me
You know what I
like
can
they're
do that with, but
trying-
feel ethically better about? Just buying a physical copy.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, I think that maybe not Nintendo first-party stuff, but there's a lot of like indie games and whatnot that just won't release on a physical cartridge.
You know what I will say? I'm
I can
very
go-
happy. Oh, sorry, keep going, Alex.
No, I was just gonna say I can talk all night about how I've become like a cultist of physical media and think everything should still be stored on a cartridge, but
If you don't have it in your hands, it can be taken away from you.
I will say I'm very glad that this announcement came after a first look at the Switch 2, because if we didn't know a thing about the Switch 2, right, and all we had was rumors, and they showed this first before revealing it, I would assume that this was them trying to remove any kind of physical media from it whatsoever. And this was their solution. I'm very glad that's not the case, because
So we don't need to panic about that.
Yeah, but man, wow, I would be sweating bullets.
Yeah.
If that were the case.
I totally get that.
Oh my
I
God.
am overall. I think I'm excited for this just because it's a feature that we don't have. Literally, just last week, I went asked my friend, "Hey, you own Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee? I can't remember which one he owns. You mind if I borrow it literally for like a few days? I just want the save file so I can get the Mew and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and then trade it up." But point is, I was like, "Hey, you've got this game. You mind if I borrow it sometime?" And he went, "I've only got it digitally." And then like 2 days later, he pings me on Discord and says, "It looks like we may be able to do that after all." So, I'm just glad that there is some feature of this. It's something that always is, it's just a restriction of digital content. You can't share it. I mean, there's Steam sharing and whatnot, but I hope that it's not ludicrously restrictive, but I'm excited that there is some form of it coming.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. All right. After that, we got a sizzle reel of a bunch of stuff. We saw High on Life getting a port, Star Overdrive, which was that cool, really interesting aesthetic game that we saw a while back that I think I am excited to play on the Switch 2 and not the Switch 1 because I think it'll destroy the system.
It looks
Almost
really
all
cool, though.
Almost
I
all
do
of
wanna
this
check
I
it
was
out.
It looks
about
really cool.
In terms of like, oh, what here will I pick up once the Switch 2 is out?
For sure. Wandering Village is cool to have a city builder on Switch. Lose Lagoon, and the one that I'm most excited for, which is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, because Fantasy Life is a super good game that very few people have played because it was late in the 3DS life cycle. I think it's one of the best games on that system. Really love it, and I've still played it after the fact. Like, it's one of the only reasons I have my 3DS ready to go is Fantasy Life, just because it's such a cool game. So I'm really excited to get a sequel. Hope it's very good. Moving
King
on.
of Meat looks fun.
Yes,
By
it
the
does.
way, that was also in the sizzle
King
reel.
of
I'm
Meat,
very
yeah.
much looking forward to that. And you know what? I may be trading in some gamer credibility right now, but I'm just going to come out and say it. High on Life is a fun game.
I'm with you.
Thoughts and opinions on Justin Roiland aside.
In the dumpster where they belong.
In the dumpster where they
With
belong,
Justin Roiland.
thrown into
Yep.
the hot magma of the earth. High on Life.
There's a
is
lot of
pretty
things
fun
that
game.
go into making a game good.
And
A lot of people that made that game good that aren't Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
Obviously, his signature is like big on it, basically. But
yeah, but fun time. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
look, if he had been the only person working on that game, the game would not have been good. So,
Well, I mean, knowing what we know now about him, he probably just came in to do voice work and then just dipped.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that
Anyway.
probably tracks.
Anyway.
put his stamp on it.
Moving on. Saga Frontier 2 Remastered got shadow dropped. This is a cool thing to have dropped. To my understanding, Frontier 2 is actually really different from Frontier 1. But I really like the Saga franchise, so I might look into this at some point, though I still haven't played Frontier 1. So, generally very cool games, though, with a very interesting progression system compared to other JRPGs and whatnot. Interesting, too, because we just got Romancing Saga 2 redone, which is Same franchise, just very different game that is
I think
extremely good.
JRPG fans are eating
We're eating
so
good,
good
baby. We got so much stuff.
over the last couple years.
I'm
That's
still
awesome.
reeling from the fact that Bait and Kaidos got ported. Phenomenal game that I never expected to see off of the GameCube. Yeah, Monument Valley 1, 2, and 3 being on Switch, phenomenal.
Okay.
Super excited about this
perfect
one.
I've only
console
played
for
the
it.
first. I've only played the
Same.
first one, but man, I have always wanted to play 2 and 3. I always wanted to get them somewhere that wasn't my phone. Even
Yeah.
though they're great on a mobile on a phone. They're built and designed specifically for that, and they're really good for that. But I've always wanted it on a bigger screen and someplace in my actual game collection instead of my phone. So this seems like the perfect time to do that. But these games are incredible.
And they announced a new one, correct?
I think they've announced
Three-
3 previously.
3 has been announced. Yeah, I
Okay,
believe it was
okay.
like a Netflix produced game at first.
I
Oh,
so that's why.
Huh.
That's right. I keep forgetting that's a thing.
But
It's
yeah,
not
that's
a
Monument
thing
Valley.
anymore. I think they
It
might
is.
end
It's
there.
just small. I think they downscaled their games division. Yeah, cool though. I'm really excited to see these games on Switch, and I'm very excited to play 2 and 3 because I have not played them before, and replay 1 because it's not a super long game. It's gonna be fun to replay.
It's wonderful.
All right, hard shift into a very different territory of game. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
Is something about this is so off-putting to me compared to games like golf with your friends.
So I get that, Alex. I get that, but I'm unreasonably excited about this because
I get that, but you're wrong.
I get that, but you're incorrect. The only reason I say that is because Everybody's Golf is actually kind of a storied franchise in a way.
Really?
I did not know that.
It's a long-running series that has generally been on PlayStation and not Switch. So I don't know. It's cool. I think the Everybody's Golf games are generally like as fun as you can get with a real like full golf game and not a mini golf game. They're generally got a lot of really cool stuff you can do in them, lots of fun courses. So I'm excited to see what this looks like on the Switch. I believe this is also coming to PlayStation and Windows as well. I don't think this is a Switch exclusive. Certainly, I think the Switch will run this fine. Like, there's nothing too crazy going on in Everybody's
Well,
Golf.
One would assume that's the thing. Once I realized that the Switch can barely handle Cult of the Lamb, all bets are off in terms of how
Yeah.
well a game
Oh,
is going
really?
to run
It
on the
can't?
Switch.
I didn't even realize that.
It's a dirty 30 frames per second. It's bad.
Yeah, I just hope this one has a good
That's
single
rough.
player mode because I think the other Everybody's Golf games have really good like single player modes, and lots of fun like mini games and stuff. They're kind of known for that, and they definitely have some of that stuff here. Like they have the monolith falling out of the sky mid golf swing, which is a cool. I don't know what that's gonna do. I like that it's there, so I'm excited to see what the monolith does when it drops. All right. After that, we got Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which
This
this
looks
looks very
sick.
fun.
This looks so cool.
This looks
Yeah,
really fun.
This is something that like I'll have to watch it again. But like, when I see the Marvel stamp on a game, there's like half of me is in fear.
Here's the thing,
You
though.
know?
You have nothing to fear because I'm pretty sure the developers that worked on this are the same people that made that most recent TMNT beat 'em up, and that
Yeah,
game was rad.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this one actually, but I feel like these games can be hit or miss. It's either like
The
Uh,
movesets look really fun for
Yeah.
the different
Yeah,
characters.
I mean,
Midnight
yeah, I
Suns
think
is a
Shredder's
favorite one.
Revenge gives tribute games a lot of leeway from me
yeah,
in terms of
Yeah.
giving them
No, I
benefit
think
of the
this-
doubt.
I think this
Yeah.
will be great. It's just when I saw that it was going to be a Marvel game, I was scared it was going to be sort of like mobile game ported to Switch kind of thing. But this looks really good, and I'm excited.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is I really hope A, the game is good, and B, it does well, because one would hope that an example of this doing well would kind of signal, hey, it's not that people don't like comic book games, it's that we like good comic book games that are single player, or at least
Mm.
ones you can play with friends in a not, kind of live
Always
service
online. Yeah.
garbage fest, Um, and it's okay to keep them simple, and you don't need these giant AAA whatever. So you can have these really tightly designed experiences as well.
Yeah. Uh,
They should have
I
a
think this is
crossover
going to be
DLC
really
with
good.
Shredder's Revenge.
I hope this has as good. I assume this is also releasing on other platforms. I think it has a Steam listing. I'm probably going to pick this up on Steam so I can remote play together with it, because I think that's going to be a really fun
Make
thing.
a great Steam Deck game too.
Yeah, great Steam Deck game. I'm just excited for this because I think these old beat 'em ups are really fun, but a lot of the older ones suffer from beat 'em up philosophy, which was it's an arcade game, so they want you to die to put a quarter in, but not too often.
Yeah,
but they do want you to die.
It's why I didn't really get that far in the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up
Yeah.
game, because it's just like
It follows
it
that old
feels
design.
so clunky and dated in a way that wasn't very endearing.
I felt
and
like
I do have
Shredder's
nostalgia from
Revenge.
those games. But
I feel like Shredder's Revenge did a really good job of not feeling like I was trying to eat your quarters.
exactly,
And
I think
you could
Shredder's
bump up
Revenge
the
was just like
difficulty in that. But
super fun to play.
it was not super. It was not contingent on you dying ever like
It
twice.
also
a
had
level.
dodges. that alone,
Yeah.
I think, is a big thing. Is that it
That
just had
made it so
a
much
button that
better.
lets you get out of danger. Is very good in a game like this, and so I'm excited to see it.
It's what makes Towerborn feel a lot better than a lot of those kind of beat 'em up games, because it has kind of similar gameplay.
I just imagine there's going to be a lot of really fun characters dropped for DLC for this, because I feel like this is a pretty rife game for some Marvel love. So I would love to see some cool stuff, like put Daredevil in here or something. That'd be fun.
Oh my god, that'd be
yeah.
sweet. Moon
Oh,
Knight,
man.
dude.
Moon
I was
Knight.
gonna say,
That'd be
Oh,
sick.
yeah.
now that Marvel wants to acknowledge the Fantastic Four again, you could have a Mr. Fantastic punch across screen.
Dude, give me a whole Fantastic Four expansion. I'd play that.
Or you
like,
switch between the four of them in one character. Could be kind of fun.
That would also be sick. Great ideas here. Yeah, I definitely am excited for this one. But there is one announcement from this direct that overshadows everything. That
Oh, really?
is Tomodachi Life, living the dream.
God.
And we're going to play another quick game right now, because I just want you all to comprehend the importance of Tomodachi Life. So, how much do you think a new in-box copy of Tomodachi Life runs you on eBay right now?
How old is this game?
Tomodachi Life.
It's a 3DS game.
It's a 3DS exclusive. It got a physical release. Mainline Nintendo, pretty popular.
I'm gonna go wild with it.
I just spent
$350.
I just
Are
spent
you
$60 on a new Pokemon game for 3DS, and I would bet that this is at least 200.
Yeah. Okay. The cheapest copy I can find, that is game only, not the box, is $120. And I'm not entirely sure I trust that it works. The in-box copies range from 160 or so, which I also don't necessarily trust, to $450.
Oh.
Because Tomodachi Life is a big deal. I think
I guess so.
it's
Why?
Did that game
incredibly
originally?
popular.
Did it come to the States? I don't.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't make any impact on me, but I know I've heard of it.
It was pretty big in the States for a while too, because it's basically what I would call it's like Nightmare Sims. It's like complete Nightmare Sims, where you get all your friends' Miis that you've probably already have because you've been playing on your console, your 3DS, and you've made Miis for whatever party games or whatnot. And you just put them into nightmare scenarios, and they do nightmare things. And the entire game feels like it was designed while the designers were huffing a lot of something. I don't know what, but it's not a normal video game. I heavily doubt this is going to be normal either. It intentionally looks terrifying.
how much interaction is there once you set these events in motion? Because this might just be me trying to play The Sims.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot
Okay.
of stuff in here. I think there's legitimately a metric ton of things that can happen in this wacky little Tomodachi Life game. I don't know. I'm excited for this because I think it's very rife for insanity, and it is completely detached from the laws of reality as well. Like Sims makes a semblance of attempting to adhere to some realism before you get into all the magic stuff. This game is like the veneer of reality is paper thin. it's gonna go away real quick.
Yeah, I am excited for this. I definitely didn't play the first one, but I think there will be at least one copy of this in our household to see what the hell shenanigans Mies will get up to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope we make a great night out of Tomodachi Life at some point, because that'd be a fun stream. But that was a Nintendo Direct, and that leads us into what I want to get into for the rest of the episode, which is talking about the upcoming stuff.
Talk about Nintendo Today at all?
I mean, Nintendo Today released. It has news. That's it.
Okay. All I wanted to point out was like
If
when
you
I was
if you have
watching it, they brought
big
out
things to say about
Shigeru
Nintendo
Miyamoto, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, this is gonna be a big deal." And
today,
it's
like
just
that's what it looks like. I got it up.
Do you want to talk about the news that the Legend of Zelda news that came out on the app the day after they launched it?
I didn't
Is
see
that
Legend of
the
Zelda.
live
I
action
don't wanna-
movie?
There's a date for the live
Oh,
action
yeah.
movie.
I want to acknowledge that thing exists. Okay,
Here, it's
Yeah, I
been
didn't-
acknowledged.
I didn't have
I don't
anything
Nintendo
further
Today.
to say really. I was
I
just
do like the Zelda calendar. That's fun. Zelda calendar's cool.
What's the calendar for?
Wait, what? What's?
You can just use it as a calendar. I guess it's got.
I mean, like, what's special about it? I just see the Triforce up in there. Other than that, it looks like a regular calendar.
Oh, it's got like the font and everything. It's got the font. There's some stuff in the back. There's like detailing that you can't really see through the camera. I'm showing a screen to a camera. Like it's not going to look great over Discord. But yeah, there's a calendar. I don't think you can add things to it. Can I add things to the calendar? No. Okay, so it's just a calendar with Nintendo stuff on it.
Oh boy.
I guess technically speaking, they're a game company, but I guess technically speaking, they're also a tech company. But they have to stop acting like they're a tech company.
I mean, it is handy. It's nice to have the release dates all in one place. That's useful for our specific use case.
Again, I'm just gonna point out, like watching it, I was like, "Oh man!" Like Shigeru.
But how would I
Miyamoto's
know that
coming
on March 10th they released a new Super Mario clock for alarm mode? How else would I know that?
Wow.
I don't. Who is
I
this
could turn it
for?
to show on calendar.
Is this simply because they do not want to be on Twitter now that there's some corporate fascist asshole running the whole thing?
Hey, I get it. I get the leaving Twitter. I'm on that train myself. I'm straight to Blue Skies.
Yeah, me too. But like, you'd think they could just, I don't know, post it on their website.
Nah, not good enough. We need an app for that.
Social media to absorb
I don't know.
more
Nintendo
people's time.
Today's it's silly, but it's harmless. kind of cute, but I think that's it. All right. So Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is happening in 3-4 days at this point. So I want predictions from people. I want to know, now that we're really close, what do we think is going to be Switch 2 headlining? What do we think is going to be shown in this Direct? What do we think may not be shown in this Direct?
My guess would have been Metroid, but then we saw it in this Direct. This
I think they're
going to
be showing more.
I'm with
think
Wyatt on that.
specifically-
I think there'll be more.
Like I said, I think they're going to be specifically showing off performance in comparison with the original Switch, and that's the game they're going to use.
I wonder if we're going to get like a side-by-side. We get like a Switch 1 is what it looks
100%.
like.
I'm
Switch
putting
2 is
money
what it
down.
looks like.
I'm putting money down. They're doing that for sure.
There was
it's gonna be
some.
with
There
Metroid.
was. What was it? It was one of the 2D remake games. They were, I think, that they were showing off in the Nintendo Direct. That I saw some visible like frame stuttering for it, so I don't know if that's probably still on.
That could also
They're
just be
probably still
recording stuff.
displaying
Pokemon-
everything still on
Pokemon
the
had-
I
also
want no
think
more frame
we're-
stutters. Just period. Please.
I also think we're gonna see a new, because it's been rumored for a while that they want to do a GameCube addition to the virtual. They're not calling it virtual console or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the
Nintendo Switch
Online.
Online.
Nintendo
Yeah.
Online, whatever. I think they might have a bunch of new additions for that. Maybe GameCube would be kind of fun.
I would love GameCube. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think we're going to see more about that Mario Kart game. I do think we're going to see a 3D Mario, or some Mario game.
Yeah, I think they've. I mean, like, I think Mario Kart is all but confirmed. I do think that they will say that there's a new Mario on the way. What we see of it, I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
If they were smart, they would do comparisons. They would specifically pick games that are known for running really poorly on Switch. So like Tears of the Kingdom or Echoes of Wisdom, and do comparisons of that.
Yeah.
Scarlet Violet runs like crap.
Yeah.
And it's also
Scarlet
Scarlet
Violet
Violet. I've been
runs?
going back to play that, and it's still not great. Like
Yeah,
it's better than it was.
I just played it,
but it's rough.
I just played it for the first time recently. I really like that game in many ways. I don't like it when I get into a Pokemon encounter because I'm stepping on a Pokemon that has just popped into frame 2 feet in front of me. I'm not talking about the ones I don't see in the grass. I mean, literally,
literally,
like,
it has
it
appeared,
just spawned in. Yeah,
materialized in front of me. Yeah, I really hope we get patches for Scarlet and Violet. I would love one for Sword and Shield too, although Sword and Shield didn't have as bad of problems. I think it didn't look as good, but it definitely wasn't clean. Yeah, I really want patches.
We're also going to see whatever new Just Dance is coming out. That's probably going to be there somewhere.
What I do wonder is if we're going to see some PS4 and Xbox One era stuff showing up. Like, I could see a world in which, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is on Switch 2 or something.
That'd be something.
Which actually would be
I
pretty
think
cool.
you're giving the power of the Switch 2 more credit than I am.
My assumption, so Nintendo's releasing this late into the cycle of the PS5 and Xbox Series X, right? I think if they're following the same pattern as the Switch 1, and granted, I have not looked at any of the speculation of what the power of the system is, I have to assume this is going to be
soon enough.
Yeah, we'll have the answer soon enough. I'm going to assume this is near the level or slightly above the level of a baseline PS4, Xbox One. Considering that, like, Switch itself was just above, like, 360 PS3 era, right? So a full console generation leap, I think, is pretty expected at this point. So I really just want to see things that take advantage of that, or games that wouldn't have run on the Switch otherwise. I think would be really cool. So I hope we see some stuff like that. I also really want to see one thing I'm hoping we really get, and this is my, like, please give it to me game. I think a new Xenoblade is probably
Wow.
No,
due to
I
be
think
announced.
I think that's not a bad prediction. They just remastered, re-released, remade, whatever.
Yeah, they just re-released X. I think this could be. It's been a while since 3. 3 got DLC last year, so it's been a bit. I don't think we're gonna get a release this year. Like, I don't see a Xenoblade game coming out immediately. Although who knows? Because Monolith Soft is fast, and they've been scaling up, to my understanding. So I think there's definitely they've been working on something that isn't just Xenoblade X definitive. I personally hope it's Xenoblade X2. I really want a sequel to X, and I think now would be the time to do it because they just released X definitive. So perfect timing for it. I hope that's on the table. If not, I could see it being something else.
I'm going to take a wild swing, okay?
Go for it. That's what we're here for.
Now, if I was Nintendo, if you're smart, you keep tabs on what kind of trends and what kind of genres are taking off in the current moment. What's really taking off right now that they have a franchise squarely in? space combat shooters. This is the time to bring Star Fox back,
Bring
in my opinion.
the Fox back.
Yeah.
If you want to do the traditional Star Fox thing where it's on rails, I think that there's a place there. But if you really want to take it beyond that, I think you could get a lot of people like me who are really into space shooters right now and is riding the current boom in popularity of space shooters.
I figure like
You
a
don't have
Star
to get
Fox
too crazy
Adventure
with it.
would do super good too.
Yeah, I really like
absolutely.
that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that would be
think
really
there's a
smart of
lot
them
of
to
room for Star
capitalize on
Fox.
especially because Starlink Battle for Atlas, universally the best part of that game that people really loved
Was the Star
how
Fox
integrated the Star Fox stuff was. Yeah, exactly. So
I was
I
just
would be
That
super
Nintendo.
down for that.
Do you guys?
good for
I,
that.
I think this might be a regional store. The Exchange. Do you guys have that around you? It's like
No.
a used game and record store. Anyway, I was just in there picking up Alpha Sapphire because I never played it, and I saw behind the counter someone standing there with the Starlink box, putting it, putting a price tag on it or whatever. And I went, "Oh my god, I forgot that game existed."
Most people do.
It's also weird for physical copies because I want to guess that most people that bought that game bought the digital copy because there was a digital version that just came with everything that you would get with the toys.
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah,
didn't need to buy the toys.
Such a bizarre release. And the one that they had had the box and everything in it, and I was like, "Is this still sealed?" I wasn't sure. I wasn't gonna ask, but I was wondering if it was still sealed. At which point I was like, "Who keeps these things
this
sealed?"
for?
I'll be honest though. I mean, marrying the toys to life concept with spaceships is kind of ingenious. Like that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that all of those, or maybe not all of them, but many of those have seemed really cool to me. But I could never justify the barrier to entry of the fact that I'd have to buy a bunch of toys.
That's fair.
Conceptually, really, really cool. But I think it's a hard sell for a lot of people.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would be a great time to do a new Star Fox thing again, just because of how popular space shooters has become recently.
For sure.
I mean, Whisker Squadron is like a roguelike, classic Star Fox type.
Classic Star Fox mixed with Vampire Survivors, which is a crazy cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also been that I think that's not a bad guess because that's an older franchise that hasn't seen entry in a while, but also it did get a Wii U release. It's not like F-Zero.
Less
If I
abandoned
say
than
F-Zero,
F-Zero. Yeah.
exactly. If I say F-Zero, I'm throwing away a guess.
Aw.
Yeah.
No one's
But,
limiting your guesses, Alex. You can say F-Zero.
No, we're getting F-Zero tracks for Mario Kart, and we'll be happy about it.
Well, haven't they said? I feel like they've commented where they're like, we don't know what to do with a new F-Zero game, like in terms of like new features. Which at this point, it's like just give people like a standard F-Zero game on a modern system.
At this point,
and they'll
I'd take
be
a
fine.
re-release.
Or like a remaster. Do like a Metro.
Give me
Prime
F-Zero
style
GX,
remaster.
because GX didn't run great on GameCube, and I would definitely want to play it on a version that isn't slow,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think F-Zero and Star Fox are both really good picks for what would work really well right now. I don't know how likely it is that we get either one. I think Star Fox is definitely way more likely than F-Zero. And I would be super down for it. But I also wonder if, this is just me wild guess here, if they feel their sci-fi bandwidth is now taken up by Xenoblade in a weird way.
It
I also
feels
don't feel
a
like
much
it's taken
different
up by
audience,
that.
though.
Which to me is that's a super different audience, right? I don't think there's much overlap at all.
No, probably not.
But yeah, just thinking from the terms of Nintendo execs, what they might be thinking of.
Who knows
You know
what they
what?
think?
You know what might be fun? We haven't had an entry in 2 years now. A new Fire Emblem, I think would be.
I actually think a new Fire Emblem
attention
is
grabbing.
pretty. I don't know if we'll see it at the reveal, but I think it's pretty likely that we have a new Fire Emblem coming.
Within the first year.
Yeah, within a year and a half of the Switch 2 releasing,
Huh.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Three Houses is the last major one. They got Engage, but that was to my understanding, odd scenario where that game was done for a while before they actually released it. So I don't know.
I
Was
Be
that
curious.
to avoid another release or something?
No, they wanted to release it for the anniversary, so it was like staggered to be towards the anniversary.
I'd be curious if we see something like another Kirby game or something. It's been a while since whatever.
I've been
Mouthful
deprived
mode.
of mouthful mode for a
What
while.
was it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Lost World or whatever it was
Forgotten
called?
City.
Forgotten City. I was in the right ballpark. Which I heard was good. I only played the demo, but I heard
Or Forgotten
it was
Land.
very good.
It is really good. I played that game with my mother. It's one of the few games
yeah.
that she was really into. So, yeah, I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land, super cool. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a new Kirby. I wonder if it would be a 2D one. That might be fun. Cool Kirby
Could be
thing.
sort of like a hybridized 2D, 3D kind of thing too.
I'll also say, I think the big thing, we're due a 3D Mario.
I did mention that earlier.
Oh,
You mentioned the
Yeah.
last episode that we did this on. I think it still holds true.
No, I said 3D Mario at the beginning of this.
I
discussion.
defend you, Wyatt. I heard it.
Well, we
Thank
didn't
you,
fully
Wyatt.
talk about it, so we missed it. Wyatt,
Try to gaslight me, Ryan, and it's not happening.
after you gaslit me on my own show. Yeah, I think a 3D Mario is probably a likely thing. What
I think
that
we'll at
looks
least get like a tease of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident enough to say that that's a release thing. But my thing is the Switch 2 needs release titles, right? So what is the release title for the Switch 2?
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, obviously, right? Like the Mario Kart that they showed has to be one of them.
1-3 Switch.
You know what? I love it.
And it brings back the what was that? Was that the SNES controller where it has the stick in the middle?
Yeah,
The what?
the little nub stick, C stick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to
It's
ask them
been
the
a while
hardware
since we've
question.
seen a Nintendo console with the.
Will it be fun as another Luigi's Mansion game? Could be kind of.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
really fun.
Did they re-released the DS one for Switch, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Dark Moon is on Switch now. It's very cool. I want to play it. Have not yet. All right. Major third-party port, I think, is a pretty likely thing that we see in this bit. I've heard a lot of people speculating that it might be Elden Ring. I don't think there's any
Jesus,
basis for this. I think it solely is just, it runs on
No.
Steam Deck, and so maybe. I think that's entirely the thought process.
I'm thinking
Interesting.
that this game was not a big hit, but I should double check this doesn't have a Switch release already. But like something like Sonic Frontiers.
Switch release.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Sonic Frontiers
Or
is on
did they-
Switch.
Okay, never mind.
It looks about as
But
good as
Sonic-
you'd expect it to.
Yeah, but I mean Sonic has the Nintendo fan base, so that's
Yeah,
something
I
feel like
would normally
third
say
party we
Sonic's
could see.
likely, but I think the Sonic just came out with a game.
Yeah.
That is on Switch, so I'd be pretty surprised if they were this soon. I could see Splatoon being early life cycle, but I don't think they're done with Splatoon 3 yet. So
Probably not.
I don't think- I don't-
like a port.
I don't see any more releases for Splatoon 3 coming, but I doubt they're ready to move on from it.
Super Mario Run 2.
And yeah, I wonder,
Oh,
is
yeah,
Metroid
that was
Prime
a
Fall
game.
a launch title for this?
I hope.
I think it makes sense to be a cross-gen launch title, kind of like Breath of the Wild was for Wii U.
You and I were thinking two different things. I was like, kind of like Twilight Princess, but
I mean, there you go.
Hey, same thing.
Perfect example.
Yeah, I think Mario Kart 9 and Metroid Prime 2 is a pretty good lineup. I feel like there's got to be something else Nintendo there, and as well as a couple of third-party things.
See, do you think we're gonna get? Because I think the answer is no, but I don't think we're gonna get much in the way of Zelda because we've gotten a lot of Zelda recently.
Yeah. I think
Which
means
between
that
Echoes of Wisdom
this-
and Tears of the Kingdom, it's a little too soon.
This would be the perfect time for a remastered collection of 3D Zelda.
That's my
games.
guess.
Come
That's what I'm
on!
wondering, Wyatt.
Come on,
Because I don't
Nintendo!
think we're getting.
Never
I
gonna
don't think
get
we're
it.
getting new Zelda. What if they remake Ocarina of Time? It's right there.
I'll even take
I
a port of the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time. Maybe like
I'll take
remaster the
anything.
visual.
Literally
touch.
anything. If Link's name is spoken one time.
Even if they use the
I-
word Link and it's not even in reference to a Zelda game, I will take it.
Now
me a
you
new
guys are
Link
getting plenty
cable.
of Legend of Zelda news. We have the live-action movie release date.
Ryan, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
All right.
I'm wondering. That's kind of the same thing that I was thinking with Pokemon. We have like the Pokemon release already upcoming, but that's not their main line game. So there was a part of me that was like, would they do something like showing off a tease of the next main line? That seems way too soon to me, though.
I don't
I think
know,
that's
because it's been
future.
a while. They did kind of that with Legends Arceus, where they really quickly showed off Scarlet and Violet afterwards.
I think
So-
those are made by two completely separate teams. And
I
at
don't
this
know.
point,
Yeah.
think that I don't know how well Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl did for them. I know that a lot of people had criticism. I played it recently and didn't have a lot of criticism. But then also I didn't get to the second gym and I decided to play Platinum again. So maybe I did have criticism.
maybe that's where your
but-
criticism is that they didn't do Platinum instead.
But my point is, like, they could also. I think they farmed out that game, so it wouldn't be out of the question
Yeah, they did.
if they revealed like a black and white remake.
Black and White would be super cool. I do think the expectations for Black and White would be really high,
Yeah.
because that was the one with the animated pixel art. That game still looks beautiful. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back and play this.
I got a question. Do you think we're going to see anything Smash Bros. Related?
I think we might get a tease.
A tease?
I
Now,
don't.
do
I
you
don't
it's
think we
gonna be
get a
new
trailer.
game, or do you think they're just going to do a souped-up Switch 2 version with maybe some more characters?
I don't think we're gonna know. I think they will literally
think-
I think we see maybe a Smash Orb somewhere. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm
I think-
real uncertain about Smash for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem is for Smash. I think we will see another one at some point, but at this point, what more do you do?
Yeah.
Like, Smash Ultimate is very complete. It's every character, every stage.
They
and
got
new
Sora.
stuff.
They got
So,
Sora
like-
finally.
Guys, we did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think if we see a Switch 2 release, it will be in the vein of Mario Kart 8 for the Switch, where they said we're going to put out Mario Kart 8 on the Switch now because nobody played it on the Wii U. Obviously, people played it on the Switch, and then we're gonna like include any existing DLC and
No one played anything on the Wii U.
bump up the game. It runs better, it looks better. There's more content. I could see that for Smash Ultimate. Smash
Yeah.
Super Ultimate.
I don't
And
think anyone
you
would
get
complain.
Another DLC of characters or something.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would complain if we never got another Smash Bros. Game, but they just kept coming out with character packs.
Honestly, I don't think we see Smash. I think the only way we see the Smash that's already released is if Goku gets added. I think legitimately
Oh
that
my
is the
God,
only
what?
thing that is insane enough to justify showing Smash Ultimate here.
I think there are two characters that would absolutely blow my mind as Smash Bros. Characters. Okay, Master Chief.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna say three: Master Chief, Doom Guy, which would be great, and
Ellie from The
Zagreus.
Last of Us.
Oh my god.
No. Here's what you do: Abby from The Last of Us, and her weapon is a golf club.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Well,
god.
let's get off the Smash train, because I think that's truly us being
They
derailed.
introduced gory finishers for every one of the previous characters.
Let's just make it
to
Mortal
get
Kombat
Abby in the
now.
game.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Moving
I'd play
on.
That. I'd play that. I'd play it.
Moving on from
Isabel
Smash.
fishes someone his head off.
Okay. I want to talk hardware too for a minute, because I think we've seen a lot of the hardware stuff that they've shown. Does the console have Bluetooth at launch?
Does the Switch not?
It did not at launch.
Well, here's the thing.
Fuck.
The Joy-Cons
It does
did
now.
use Bluetooth technology, but they did not open up Bluetooth connectivity to anything until a couple of years ago. Specifically, Bluetooth audio was not a thing until a couple of years ago.
And if you're using Bluetooth audio, you lessen the amount of Joy-Cons you can have connected to the Switch.
And also has significant like
Got
delay,
real bad
and it just
latency.
sucks.
Okay,
So
that's
do
nuts.
we
I did
get
not realize that.
good Bluetooth audio?
I think I feel like in 2025, maybe 2026.
This is
You
Nintendo,
have to.
man. This is Nintendo.
They don't have
okay?
to do anything.
I'm just talking.
Nintendo doesn't have to do anything.
Your average consumer has their phone that no longer has a headphone port. If they have headphones for their computer, there's like 50-50 chance, probably better than 50-50, that plugs into USB.
Or it's wireless.
So like, I think
Or
that
like me, it uses
it
an
has-
XLR cable.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was, yeah. But I mean, like, I'm talking like average consumer here. You have like a kid or like some guy who wants to play on the train or his flight. I
Use
feel like you
AirPods.
have to have Bluetooth. Exactly, you have to have Bluetooth. I don't agree with it.
I hope for my own
I like
sanity
the
on
cable.
public transit that it does.
I don't know. If you're my
Bluetooth.
dad, you never use headphones at all.
Well,
I-
Alex, I don't think I'm your father. I'm gonna take a wild guess there. I don't think that's.
You are not the father.
Aw.
Don't get me started on like a rant of like the public speakering. Oh, it bugs me so much.
I'm
So
only going to
me
say
too.
yes.
The
because-
speakerphone in the store.
I'm only going to say yes because if the answer's no,
If they
Ryan,
take it away now that we've had it, that's crazy.
I'm going to say the same with the
Speaking of-
OLED. We talked about this.
Yeah,
about
I was
this
gonna say the next
before.
thing was screen. Do we get an OLED screen?
If it's not OLED, man.
Because I will be happy with one of
Bad
two
move.
things: either OLED or a screen the quality level of the Analog Pocket, which is an LCD screen, but it is beautiful. It is by far the best like LCD screen I've ever seen on
Also,
something.
What do you think the amount of people who have smartphones now have OLED screens? Like
All of them.
it is
Like, every-
widely adopted. At least
If you're on any
mobile
like
technology.
mainline phone from a well-known brand, it's gonna be using OLED.
Yeah, from like
Or MOLED
2018
or
onwards.
QLED or something. I supremely hope that we get an OLED screen, though I do think this comes into like the big thing, I think, which is price. How much are we expecting to shell out for a Nintendo Switch 2? And to lead into that, I'm gonna ask you, do we think they drop the price on Switch 1?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
going to
so.
say no because it's Nintendo and they still charge $60
Yeah.
for Breath of the Wild.
Nintendo doesn't. What's the
I spent
deepest sale anything has
$60
ever
on a
gone
3DS game.
on in Nintendo? Like 15%.
I don't think they're going to do it.
I think that maybe Nintendo doesn't drop the price, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing retailers dropping prices and putting it on sale to clear stock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's gonna be just Nintendo stops producing Switch 1s at that point.
I think eventually. I don't think it'll be soon, but
They did support the 3DS longer than I think most people were expecting after the Switch came out.
I also will
I'll
say,
give them
so
credit.
to keep in mind, the 3DS when it first came out was launched at $250, which very high price for 3DS. It was dropped to $170 not much later.
That's because it wasn't selling well.
'Cause
at
it
the
didn't
time,
sell
or
well.
not as well.
So
yeah.
my question is, does Nintendo open themselves up to that same problem by launching the Switch 2 at a price a lot higher than the Switch 1 and then not selling as well, or do we think they like hedge their bets and go at somewhere in the middle?
I'm
So-
thinking that they know that people are desperate for a Switch with better performance, and so I think a lot of people are going to buy a Switch, not even
Yeah.
for Switch 2 games, but just to run their old Switch games better.
that's
For
what
sure.
I'm hoping for.
And to keep in mind, a regular Switch OLED right now goes for $350. So
Which is what it was.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original Switch launched at $300, I believe. I don't think there's any chance that the Switch 2 is less than $350. I'm thinking $400 is probably the price point.
I would say 450 is the highest that I would predict for sure.
450 is the highest I would pay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because here's the thing: if it's 500, that's the same price as a PS5.
My
and
expectations
an
get a lot
Xbox.
higher at 500. It's like
Yeah.
at that point you're really competing with the big boys because I think already 400 to 450 are now competing with the Steam Deck directly. Like Steam Deck is now exact same price
450
range.
In my mind, 450 is pushing it for me.
Yeah.
400.
I would still be 100% on board at 400. I would be like 90% on board at 450. 500, I get real iffy. Like,
Well, at 500, they'd have to fix a lot of their stupid Nintendoisms that they've had for a very long time.
like a 500, I
clean up
really
their-
expect a flawless launch. Like,
They gotta improve the Joy-Cons in a very significant way. Their
they
online
need to be
needs
way
to
more
be,
durable.
Their online needs to be tip-top shape at $500.
Yeah, if they,
I can't imagine that being the case.
If on Tuesday
Right.
they show something off that is on par with like current gen consoles, or even on par with like a lot of what the Steam Deck is doing, then I think $500 is in the question. But I don't think that's what they're going to be doing.
All right.
Um,
Other rapid fire questions. So, do we think the mouse mode is real?
I was about to ask that.
Do they show off the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever it is, Joy-Con being a mouse?
So
I think so.
I'm going to say this. If they do have a mouse mode, they would have to make it a control method that is only like an alternate control method or very limited in capability, because they're still expecting people to plug this into a TV and use other full controllers. So
but this
it would
is
be
Nintendo.
almost like, but this is, I think it would be somewhere like the touchscreen, where it exists, but its functionality is very limited because it's also expected to be a home console and a portable console at the same time.
I just really want a shot of someone in a subway taking one of the Joy-Cons off, putting it on their knee, and like rolling it around.
I would freak out. I'd be like, this is a disaster waiting to happen. What are you doing?
I want to see that so bad.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure if what we will see is the mouse mode. I think that's most likely from what we've seen and what rumors are out there. I don't think we get through this initial, show off without them showing off some kind of weird oddball gimmick.
I mean, there has to be, right? Like, if there's not a new oddball gimmick,
I don't
what's
think
the point?
that I don't think they can resist.
I need to see someone playing tennis or having a house party where they like stick a Joy-Con in their mouth or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Insane.
It's also an endoscopic camera. Like,
oh no!
Oh shit!
It's gotta have some.
They showed
like,
they showed the little extendable that just comes out of.
All right. Other question for the hardware reveal: do we see an amiibo?
Yes.
You think we see an amiibo?
When you say that, you mean like amiibo support, or
so
like
in my mind, this is them showing that amiibo still work, right? Like they tap an amiibo to the console and it's like, oh, it does the thing.
Those things still print money, right? Of course they're going to support it.
So my question more is, do we see an amiibo in the show, regardless of if it has the support or not? Will there be an amiibo in the showcase?
No. I mean, are you saying they will reveal a new amiibo, or they will
amiibo? Is an amiibo shown?
Amiibos work. Yes.
You think we see an amiibo?
So. We will see at least the word amiibo.
Especially if we get a new.
No, I'm gonna say word doesn't count. I need to see an amiibo. A someone needs to hold a figure and do a thing, or like
I think
a figure needs to make an appearance.
Especially if they show off a new Nintendo franchise, they're gonna have amiibos.
Yeah.
With that new franchise, so I think so.
Now, do we see legs?
What? Legs?
On the amiibo?
On the amiibo? Or you mean during the show?
You mean like a kickstand for
that was an arms joke.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
It's equal to arms,
Hey,
legs.
Are we
actually,
gonna
wait a
get,
minute.
like,
Hold on. Talk about weirdo launch games.
the
Talk about
third game's
weirdo
called
launch
Torso.
games. We can get Knack 2 ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh my god. PlayStation
Alright.
cares so little about Knack that they're like, yeah, I'll port it to the fucking Switch too. I don't shit.
Oddball thing. Will Ring Fit Adventure work on the Switch too?
I was actually that was gonna be one of my
Are
predictions
the
for
Joy-Cons the same size?
No,
No.
they're
No,
bigger.
because they're not.
I think I would not be
I don't
surprised if we
think
see
they're
Ring
gonna-
Fit 2.
So
I
my
don't
guess with that is, do we
know
see
how flexible the
regular?
holsters are?
Do we see
for
Joy-Con
the-
1 on Switch 2? Because I don't think
No.
there's any way that we're expecting to see a Switch 2 Joy-Con slot into Ring Fit Adventure. I don't see that happening.
They're not going to fit together.
But the question is, does a Switch 1 Joy-Con fit in to a Switch 2?
I'm
Or
gonna say
work
no.
with the Switch 2 in any way?
I think they could potentially work wirelessly, not hooked in, not like
Yeah.
attached to the sides, but that would allow them to use older accessories that require Switch 1 Joy-Cons. I think that would be a very smart idea.
All right. Does the
I
Switch
guess
1
you
Pro
know,
controller?
with the Wii U.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Alex.
sir. I was just gonna say, I guess with the Wii U, it could still use Wii controllers. So
Yeah.
I think there is some precedent for that.
So, do we see Switch 1 Pro controllers? Can I plug my Pro controller in and use it? Does it
Man,
just work?
I wish. Here's the thing. Either they allow us to do that, or they have a Switch 2 Pro controller that is just as good, if not better, because that Pro controller is amazing.
I want to see for better, because this is one of my favorite controllers. Like, Switch 1 Pro controller, great controller. Really good.
Except for the triggers.
Except for the triggers. I want analog triggers, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we will see a new Pro controller if the Switch 1 controllers work at all. I think the Pro controller will. Like, if there's anything, it'll be the Pro controller. But I think we will also see a new Pro controller revealed.
All right. I'm going to go through some rapid fire stuff and see. I want immediate reactions to these. What are we thinking? Battery life, how many hours?
Depends on the game. Pick a game that we already.
Let's say minimum. So, like Breath of the Wild, right? Like, what would you get playing Breath of the Wild?
5 hours.
Oh, I was going to say 5 hours as well.
Do we know what's the current battery life on one of those?
Like 4.
Yeah, 4-ish.
I don't think we'd see a huge increase, but I think we will see some increase.
It's around the
Go
same.
with 5 like you guys.
All right. Fair.
I'm expecting bigger battery life and more efficient chipset, so it's probably like an extra hour.
Yeah, but obviously more powerful, so it might take more power. But
yeah,
bigger battery, even it out a little bit. So price points. We're thinking somewhere between $350 and $500, basically. That's the range. What sacrifices do you think Nintendo might make to keep the price low? Because we're expecting to see a new chipset, more powerful.
I hope it's not the screen.
So
I hope it's
my
not the
wonder is if
screen.
it's the screen.
I think it's the screen. I
So
think
the
that
screen not being
OLED.
OLED then? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think they dropped the OLED screen because of price?
Oh God! I
what
hope
is
so.
what is the current resolution on the Switch? Do we? anybody know that
720p. 720p
think-
handheld 1080 docked.
Here's the thing. I think
I
a really
think that we won't-
smart. Go for it, Alex.
I think we will see it be 1080p.
Okay.
Handheld. I don't think we see any more than that. Though.
I genuinely think if they're trying to save costs in areas, keeping it 720p, even with the bigger screen, is actually not a terrible idea. Because I still think 720p at the size that they're doing still works perfectly fine. And
Yeah,
will still be fairly pixel dense.
I mean, the screen is a little bigger on the Switch too. So I think I'm with Alex on this. I don't see them going 720p again. I feel like this has to be 1080 for the size that they're going for, minimum. I think we probably don't get quite as good build quality as the Switch OLED out of the gate. I'm kind of expecting it to be a little bit worse than that. And
Well, how else will they sell the Switch 2 Pro in 2-3 years?
yeah, and I'm not being cynical about that. I don't think they're making any decisions based on that.
No,
think
I
it's
just
more...
mean that's kind of the model nowadays, and it allows them to continue the lifespan of something and make a more premium product. Like,
I'm going to flip the script on you, Ryan,
Yeah.
and ask a question. Are we going to see Hall effect thumbsticks on either the Pro controller or the Joy-Cons?
I
What
think
are
we see them on
those?
the Pro controller. I mean, the weird thing with Hall effects now is they're not actually much more expensive. So I think if we don't see them, it's solely out of incompetence.
What are Hall effect?
So Hall effect, it's basically a different way of constructing thumbsticks where
Much less
essentially
prone to drift.
Much less prone to drift. They could also keep standard thumbsticks just to drive up sales for Pro controllers or Joy-Cons, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
If
I
they
mean,
wanted to be
'cause
really
the thing for
evil.
me is like I don't actually hate the Joy-Con thumbsticks, but I hate that they drift. Because mine, I have a bunch of Joy-Cons that drift. As long as drift is not a problem, I don't care what they replace it with. I think Hall effects are a great choice, and I hope that that's where they go because they're very
There isn't enough travel for me, like from one end to the other. That's my big
Totally.
problem.
And I'm just not sensitive to that. Like, I think the best for everyone is probably Hall effects, right? Like that pleases every group, I think.
I think they also just kind of feel nicer than standard joysticks.
It's also
depending on
like
how they're made.
if my little Retroid Pocket can have Hall effect sticks, the Switch 2 can have Hall effect sticks. Like, this is much smaller. It should be fine. Okay, yeah. We went over battery life. We went over all this stuff. So I want to nail in on the power level here. Do we think it is better or equal to a PS4 Pro?
I think it's going to be somewhere between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro.
Now, what are you talking about? Like just overall processing power?
Will it
I'm
be
always
able to play?
confused.
I mean, we can't obviously there's a lot of differences in hardware between everything, so I can't go like, oh, it's going to have the same equivalent processor as the PS4 Pro. I think it's just a question of can this play games as good as a PS4 plays in whatever way we interpret that to mean for PS4 Pro.
But this
I
run
have a
Last
hard
of
time
Us
Type
2
of that's
at the
hard for me to
resolution and
figure
frame
out a way
rate.
to interpret that.
Like, let's put it this way: could the Switch 2, if we're assuming it runs,
If we're
as
assuming
well
it runs
as a PS4
Assassin's Creed
Pro,
Valhalla, right? Does it run Assassin's Creed Valhalla at equivalency to PS4 Pro?
I was going to use the example of Last of Us 2.
I don't
I
see
was
Last of
thinking
Us
Last
2
of Us
being
2
on the Switch 2.
No.
So-
No, but I'm saying like in terms of like power, would it be able to run a game like that?
No.
I have a really hard time seeing that.
Because you got to remember, Red
But
Dead
I'm
Redemption
also-
2 is also on the PS4. Like,
Yeah, that game, I must be crazy optimized.
so I gotta ask, do we see Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Switch?
Is Red Dead Redemption 1 on the Switch?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
It
remaster.
is
A remaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think
Uh,
potentially.
It's
Not
actually a
this
very
year.
good port, from what I believe. I buy not this year, because Rockstar is very slow at porting things, but...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like 6 years
It became
then.
a good port. There wasn't a 60 FPS mode for it for a while, which is insane. But anyway,
Yeah, honestly, not that surprising. But yeah, so do
I
we
think it's
expect PS4
somewhere-
Pro or underneath?
I think it's going to be better than a PS4, but not as good as a PS4 Pro. Like right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree. My view on it is kind of skewed, I think, because I've been... Look, if I'm being 100% honest, the reason I own basically any Nintendo console is for Pokemon. And so what I've been playing on Switch recently has been Pokemon, which aren't really top of the... if I think about what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are doing, I can make that leap easier. Like,
Yeah.
I can see how maybe they can bump that up. It's hard to see with like a Pokemon game where I think the engine is just restricting it to.
I mean,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
Pokemon
I do
clearly has
think-
engine problems, but
I think lesser than PS4 Pro, but maybe not by a lot.
okay. So somewhere in the range between PS4 and PS4 Pro seems like the consensus.
Sorry, that was kind of a rambling way to say that. I
That makes sense.
was thinking it out as I was speaking.
Okay, so we got all that done. What do you think is like? What is the number at which you do not want to switch to, price wise?
Price point?
price point?
What
Anything
is
above-
actually too high?
Anything above 450.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think for
limit.
me, 500's the line. I'm on board until 500, and then I'm like, okay. Back.
Yeah, I think that
That's just because I use my Switch a lot. It's probably my most used
part of it
console.
depends to me on like what we see at the reveal. It could change, but I think my line is 450 at the moment.
Yeah.
At 5, wow, there's some lightning going on. Sorry. If I don't know if it is $500, I think I will consider it. I think I will pick it up someday.
You'll probably feel a little bad about it, though.
I will probably feel a little bit about it. It won't
Yeah.
be, right now, I will probably end up picking, I live with my partner. We both own a Switch. I think right now we're thinking upon the Switch release or soon after, especially because scalpers are nuts, and I really
That
don't
was
trust
going to be my next
Nintendo has
question.
a
is,
way.
do we think...
All right, well, we'll talk about that in a minute then.
Yeah.
But I think that, we're just going to buy one to start off with at least.
Sensible.
If it's 500, we probably won't buy two at all. I don't know. If it's 500, I'm gonna have to be sort of like a wait and see.
Kind of extend that
thing.
answer to be like, if it was $500, what would it need to do to convince you to get it? Like how juiced up does the Switch 2 need to be?
To me, I think it has to definitively be PS4 Pro or better.
Yeah, it's got to cross that line.
Yeah, to me, it has to like that's the line where I could consider it sort of up to par with current gen things.
For me, I think it's got to beat a Steam Deck. It's got to be like
Series
above
S
Steam
even,
Deck.
or Series S, even kind of in that realm. If they really want to push, like,
if I'm being honest with myself, someday I will own a Switch 2, regardless of the price point. At some point, part of me is going to go, damn, I really want to play Pokemon. I really want to play that new Zelda. I really want to play Mario, whatever it is. And someday I will own one. But if it's 500 at launch, it will need to have a bunch of games that are definitively good to come out, and
you got to see games that you actively want.
Yeah, it's got to have like a library. I probably will at that point have had to have played it from a friend of mine or something, and I'd go, oh yeah, this is worth it.
All right. Do we see Final Fantasy 14, 16, 7 Remake, or new Final Fantasy on the Switch too?
I think 14 is most likely.
I could see 7 Remake.
14's not.
Wait, hang on. How do you even play 14 on a controller?
Great. It works wonderfully.
It happens.
It actually has amazing controller support.
But,
you can play it on every other console.
All the different buttons. How?
Layer them.
How does that?
Layer them up.
Triggers as modifiers. You hold the right trigger and then press a face button. It does the thing. I think we've blown Alex's mind.
Have you never played ESO on a controller before? ESO does something similar,
God, no.
Right?
Any MMO is a keyboard and mouse game.
No, ESO I prefer on a
Not
controller.
true.
14 I've played on a controller, but
it doesn't work great on World of Warcraft because it's a modification, or at least when I played it. But I had some surgery.
I've used some add-ons to like juice WoW to work on the Steam Deck, and it's a process, but it's very cool when you get it working.
Yeah, once you get it working, I mean it's all right, and I imagine those things have gotten better and better.
Yeah, and 14 is like designed for controller as well. Like that's a game like they sell huge volume on PS4 and Xbox. So
I think if we see a new Final Fantasy game, it's not going to be on the level of something like 16. They might do something that's more like traditional, like top-down turn-based.
Yeah, too recent
thing. Yeah.
But do we see 16 or 7 Remake on Switch?
Remake, yes. 16, no.
Okay. I think it's a good answer. I would be very excited if we both ran on the Switch.
Obviously, yeah, I don't know if it's got enough of an audience, but do you think there's a world where we would ever see them announcing a brand new Final Fantasy sort of tailored to the Switch gameplay experience?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
There's like a while.
I think
like
it would
Monster
be a
Hunter.
weird thing because they do things like Final Fantasy Explorers and stuff like Crystal Chronicles. I think if it were to happen, it would be a different thing.
Or if you really want to freak people out, a new tactics.
I think that is very in the
Oh
realm of possibility.
yeah.
Yeah. If you
I
really,
think
if you
Final
really
Fantasy Tactics, super possible.
just saying, if you really want to freak people out, that's what you do.
Tactics games are in right now. It's one of the best ones. Yeah, I could totally see that happening. Okay, I'm gonna say a word, and I'm gonna warn everyone: we're all gonna be triggered when I say this word. So just mentally prepare yourself for the reaction that you're about to have. Silksong.
I'm not. Wait, what do you mean by triggered by that?
You jest,
Do you
sir.
not?
Surely you
know?
just, Alex.
What I
don't
mean,
think he
I had
knows.
literally no reaction to you. What? What? that
Alex,
it's
I think
going
you've
to
been
be on the
whooshed a little
Switch?
bit.
In what context are you just saying Silk
Do
Song?
you understand how hyped people are for Silk Song and how long people have waited for that game?
Yeah, and no matter
go
when
over-
they think it's going to come out, they're going to have to wait a little longer.
I
Yeah.
don't think as popular as Nintendo and the Switch platform is,
Yeah.
I don't think they would do it at a Switch 2 reveal. That is a Game Awards thing. That's a like Summer Games Fest thing. I
was gonna say,
like
does that
E3
mean you
season.
think we're not even getting Silksong this year? Is
No.
it 2026
I
to
Oh,
you?
that was your
No.
question.
No.
Silk Song this year? No.
No,
fuck
No.
My question was Silksong at the Switch 2 reveal. I'm on the case of absolutely no way.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
I'm
think
sure
it would
if you
be a
go
great
over
stage
to, like,
for
the
it.
subreddit,
No way.
there's gonna be people really hyping it up, like it has to be now. It has to be.
But
Dude,
how
Every
big?
time there's any kind of video game thing, it's like Silk Song 2, Silk Song 2, Silk Song 2, or Silk Song. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Look, it's like what, 2 people working on it? No, that shit's gonna come out in 2050.
Perfect. Great. But how big of a launch title would Silksong be?
dude, that would
That
be
might
the
be a console
biggest-
seller for some people.
I think it would be.
biggest flex I
legitimately.
have ever seen, and I also think the studio making that game would be shooting themselves in the foot.
Switch 2 exclusive. You can only
Oh
get
my
it on Switch 2 at launch.
God.
I
My
do
God.
believe at first I was like,
Insane.
an indie dev like that, I'm not even sure they'd agree to it. Like, I don't even know if they would care that much. But then also I was thinking about, if Mr. Mario himself wandered into your office and said, "Hey,
Shigeru
Mario?
Miyamoto comes up and is like,
millions of dollars, we get it for a year." If I was a small indie dev, I'd be like, "Oh, great, that pays for lunch for me for the next
honestly,
15
I would
years."
How about
be
this?
like, he's like,
Mil-
Switch 2 launch title. And I'm like, okay. I don't even think the millions come into it at that point.
Miyamoto walks into the studio and goes, "Million." They're like, "No, that's okay." Millions.
Okay. Do we think we get Nintendo Switch Online or a new online system?
I think there's going to be additions, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy overhaul of what we currently have.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
I'm
think it'll be
assuming
built
still
on
the
top.
same Nintendo family plans, whatnot, all that stuff. Especially with
I hope so.
I hope
the
so.
virtual game
Otherwise,
cart
I'm not paying
thing.
for it.
Feels like they wouldn't announce that and then immediately 2 days later go, oh, nope. You can't do
I
that
think
on the
what
new
we'll
console.
see is like some like a fresh lineup of the classic titles coming to whatever the hell they call them, and probably some. I would imagine some kind of additional features that
Yeah.
are kind of minimal, but keep
I don't think it's
fresh, keep quality of life.
I don't think it's going to be anything earth-shattering.
All right.
My only
Well-
fear is that they go, "Hey, new console, time to up the price to $5 or something."
Oh God.
Perfect. Okay. So I think that's everything that I have on this list. So I want to go to our shoutouts. But before we do shoutouts, I want to get in the spirit of shoutouts. What is the game that you want on the Switch 2? Nintendo, third party, otherwise. What's the thing that, like, for you is I'm sold immediately?
Zelda collection.
Zelda Collection?
Or
Are we talking like
a new Advance Wars game?
Perfect. Great answers.
Are we talking like a launch title?
Yeah, Switch 2 launch. This thing is announced for it. Switch, it could be Nintendo, third party, whatever. What's your like pipe dream launch title?
I think honestly, we're kind of,
Even it's a port or something like.
for me, I think that we're almost there. I mean, Metroid Prime and a new Pokemon is probably all it takes for me.
Yeah.
And I think that those are both going to come to Switch, but I guarantee you we will hear that they run better on the Switch too.
Okay. Alex.
This is very hard for me to like, nail anything down on because
I mean, hey, Professor Layton is an acceptable answer.
it would
absolutely.
be, but also I would hate both myself and the situation I'd be put in to have to buy a new console to get the Professor Layton game.
You want something that would take
I
advantage of that
get
console.
to buy a new console.
I would not feel good about it at all. My Switch still works perfectly fine, even though it is, the least powerful gaming thing that I own. That still works. Pouring one out for my DS Lite.
No, rest in peace.
Yeah. I guess Professor Layton then. I'm really.
Now, I'll throw a crazy thing out, Alex. You can say Destiny 2.
No.
Hey! You said desire, not fear.
not imminent.
I wouldn't want that on Destiny. I wouldn't want that on I wouldn't want that on something that runs worse than my PC.
That's fair. That's fair.
I would never choose to get a worse experience out of any
But
game.
hey, I will remind you, Warframe, cross-save, cross-progression, Switch 2, more powerful than Switch 1, probably run pretty good. Already on Switch. So I'm hoping that's on the table for a Switch 2
Warframe
enhancement.
did run pretty good on the Switch.
Yeah, the only part where it struggles is the open worlds are a little rough. So I would hope Switch 2 can do the open worlds.
The open worlds are a little rough on my PC, so...
All right.
I think I'd still stick with Professor Layton, even though I would hate myself.
I'll throw another one out too, Alex. Lies of P sequel.
Ooh.
God no! I just want to play that on a console or a PC. I don't want to, or like a
You don't want to
PlayStation
take
or
Lies of
PC.
P on the go with you?
No. God,
Alex,
no.
you're baffling to me.
When I am on the go, I need to concentrate on so many other things. I cannot be gaming.
I love that Alex's answer to this
present
yes
you-
and of questions is no, but perfect.
Alex, let me propose a scenario to you, okay? You're on a very long plane ride or a very long train ride, somewhere where you are stuck sitting and expected to do nothing for, let's say, 7 hours. It's a long ass trip. What do you want to do in that scenario?
I sleep. I draw. I have Sudoku.
You don't
I
want to
have
play
an
video
audiobook.
games during any of that.
I don't do good looking down while traveling either. I try to knock myself out.
Let's give you the ultimate scenario. Windows covered. You can't see. There's nothing in your
Shock
peripheral
absorbing
vision.
cabin.
I got one
There's
for
no
you.
rumble.
I got one for you. What I was using my DS for earlier. We're not mobile. I'm stuck in a waiting room, waiting for
I don't play
somebody.
games in a waiting room. I'll be on
Yeah,
Alex's side on
I
that
was
one.
on.
I
I was on.
don't know waiting
I was
room.
on post-surgery pickup duty, so I brought my DS.
Yeah, you're going to be there for a while.
And then, hey, you know what? Surgery was literally 15 minutes.
Perfect.
There you go.
I did not even. I busted out the DS, and the doctor was like, "All right, we're done." It's like, what? Last time I had surgery, it was like, I woke up and it was like 3 hours later.
I just finished the opening of the Chrono Trigger. What are you talking about? I haven't even had time to save yet.
Like, I'm in the middle of a trainer battle here.
All right. Well,
No, I still want to play Chrono Trigger at home.
This has gotten
this is fully
All right,
off the
so-
rails. All right.
So Alex doesn't want to switch.
Alex doesn't want to switch to regardless. So-
I don't game on the go. I game at home. Oh, but I'll game at home.
But also, like,
on,
in the couch or something,
not in
right?
My gaming room. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't need to be on the go.
I'll game
like,
in
I
different
mostly use
rooms
my
in the
Switch
house
in
all
my
the
bed
time.
or on the couch, right?
Yeah.
You guys are just omitting playing the Switch on the toilet. It's okay.
No, that's why do you think I have this guy?
That keeps me on there. That keeps me on there for
Play
a
Ace
little
Combat
too
on the
long.
toilet.
Honestly, it's too uncomfortable for me to play games while on the toilet.
Okay, we're
ergonomics
so
of that
off
really
the rails.
don't-
I'm gonna pull us back in.
It was a joke, guys.
We gotta go to the shots. For me, the games are definitely any major Final Fantasy stuff. I'm absolutely interested in on the Switch, particularly 16. I would totally replay 16 with the DLC if it came out on the Switch. And I think the biggest one for me is a Xenoblade X2. Is like the pipe dream of a video game for me. Of course, any mainline Xenoblade would be great. It doesn't matter if it's X or not, but I like X in particular because you can play with the mechs. The others, the mechs are only there as plot devices. So, I want that. Yeah, that's it. All right, time for shoutouts.
Mine
Who's
is
got
kind
one?
I
of
can go.
long, so I want to go last.
You want to go last? Okay.
I want to go last.
Shout out to homemade ice cream.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Can I double shout out?
Go for it. I'm
I got two
triple
short
shout
ones.
outing. So
The rules
I've
are
been-
for us to
All right,
determine.
I've been alluding to it. I've been playing a shitload of Pokemon.
Mhm.
Card game, video game, you name it.
Yep.
ROM hacks. I don't know. I've been in a Pokemon mood lately. It was like Pokemon Day. I happened to be at the store, and like my friend who works at the store was like, "You want to buy a pack of Pokemon? If you do, I can give you a card." And it was like a drug, I guess. And I'm like, oh, I'm back into it. But anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with Pokemon. Don't buy the cards for exorbitant prices, kids, because scalpers.
Yeah.
The cards aren't that good. They'll probably drop. And then also yesterday I went to a local Warhammer Invitational tournament. A lot of fun. Was there all day.
Ooh.
Came in dead last, but
Ah.
it was fun. Oh, and I got this guy who I'm inspired to paint up.
Nice.
nice.
Hold him up
Look
more.
at that.
Unblur. Let me unblur
Ooh.
somewhere.
Solid guy.
Discord, please.
His
make
wings
this
are
so-
being censored. What's on his wings, Alex? What's on his wings?
What are you hiding
that
on
the
his
filter's hiding
wings?
them
Oh,
from?
wait. Why when I hit unblur does it not unblur? There you
It just took a really
There
long
we go.
time. Yeah.
Man, you'd think it would.
Ooh.
You'd think his wings are covered in some type of ogre wall texture.
go.
All right.
Anyway,
Alex,
Okay.
what you got?
Alex already went.
Oh,
I said, shout out
Homemade
to
ice
homemade
cream.
ice cream.
I
Wow,
completely
didn't
missed
even pay
it.
attention to his shout out. The absolute.
Look, I have a
disrespect.
lot of things I gotta do, including grabbing my own shout out, which, because Wyatt, you've asked to go last, that means you need to sit through this first. Which is, Alex was mentioning Pokemon cards. I got a couple of Pokemon card things related here, because a friend of ours got me into Pokemon cards at the worst time possible. Pokemon cards are insane right now. You basically can't buy them for a reasonable price.
I'm getting cards because I know somebody. No joke.
But I got lucky at
Back of
Costco
the
and got a
truck,
thing.
man.
And I also got one thing that was just like from the local shop. They had one thing that was at MSRP, but it's weird because it's Japanese. So I have like a Japanese box of Pokemon cards here that's sealed
Ooh.
to open at some point. But I'm going to do a live pack opening, like Alex said. Of
Hey!
right now,
yeah.
one of the
This one
sets getting
take longer than
scalped ahead.
mine.
This is
that a
this is
tin?
Pokemon 151. It's still sealed in the thing. I'm gonna knock this open.
One or
I like the trend I've started of doing pack openings for shoutouts.
Yeah, we got to get the
Next
pack
week I'll
opening
save
fully.
a pack. I usually open them on Mondays.
Well, see, I have a fair amount of these because at Costco you have to buy 2. So I have 2 boxes of 10 of these, or 2 boxes of 5 of these to go through. So if I struggle to actually get the
Wait,
10
2
open.
boxes of 5 tins?
Yeah, 2 boxes of 5 10s. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all the
Oh.
10s when I'm done with this. But you get
Use them to store mint.
you get 2 packs and then a little
oh,
coin
there's a coin
thing.
inside. Nice.
Because in Pokemon
And
you
then
have
is
to put
that
leaves.
wait, is that just a texture on
Look
the
at
inside
how
of the
many-
box, or is that
Look
a
at how many of
poster
these
in there
palmy
too?
coins I've
It's
got.
like an
I've
art
got like
card.
5 or 6 of these now.
Little art card.
Ah,
That's nice. A free bookmark.
Little bookmarks. They got stats in the back, and then a little coin because Pokemon you flip coins as part of the game.
I don't like how big the coins are nowadays.
Yeah, they're huge. Because Griffin, my roommate, has a bunch that are not big. Look, we're gonna do this the sensible snipping way.
I remember when they were still the size of a quarter. What is it now? $0.50?
Oh, that's a full $1.50 now. I mean, this thing is huge.
Oh wow!
I mean, I put that up in
Yeah,
front of my head, but like,
that's almost the size of a $0.50.
Eevee,
Solid art options.
is that old art?
This is Pokemon 151, so this is the 151 stuff.
So
must
what does that mean?
have
Is it
that.
just the originals, or is it
It's
like
the
original
this is, like
151,
the
yeah.
first? No, I mean,
It's
like,
not
is it
old
still
art.
like really advanced
It's
art?
new
or-
cards. It's new cards, but it's
Oh,
only whoa.
we might have
Watch
gotten a
this
fancy
episode.
thing.
Watch this episode become like a huge success.
we got the
just
Nido
because we're doing
King.
a card opening.
I think an
That's really
illustration.
pretty. Love the
Look,
love
I
the
have-
brand
Well,
design.
I have
super
been
viral.
way more into tabletop games than I have video games recently. You know, I was like struggling
Then
to
a
come up
fancy
with some of
Chansey.
our stuff for our game of the year.
Fancy chance.
Because now that I'm working from home at my computer all day, when I want to relax, I go leave and I play a card game or something.
And Wyatt, you put yourself in this hell of having to watch this first, because now we got a second pack to go through from this little 10.
Little did I know that your shout out would take longer than mine.
You were like, yours is
Ryan-
going to take so long, but I was like, I had this prepared. This is...
You wanna
I was trying
bet?
to be more respectful of people's time, but clearly that
Wait,
no
what was
one
that
here gives
first
a shit
Pokemon
about
there?
that. So
Oh, Weedle. Okay.
Problem is, I
Next
can't really
week I got
see what they
another-
are from the angle that I'm doing this at until I look at them. Goldeen. Need a ring.
Big air balloon.
The cool sand slash art.
Oh, I like that Staryu art.
Wait, is the background holographic, but the art not for the star?
Some of them are. Some of them are reverse hollows.
It depends.
Weird.
This is a hollow where it's like it's got a little bit of holographics to it.
Where it's the trim and the art.
Yeah, and then this is a reverse
There's
hollow,
reverse hollows that are.
which is like got a hollow pattern on it.
Oh yeah, it has the sort of like watermark thing going on in the.
Yeah, and there's
gotta
one
say, Ryan,
set.
I don't
that has
appreciate
Pokeballs on it. It's crazy.
the one-upness of what's happening here. It's like you thought your shout out was long.
Yeah, I didn't know how long yours was gonna be. So
trying to one up me with shout outs
To keep this from
It's a
turning into a
petty
whole
move.
episode, I'll save more Pokemon card related shout outs till next week, but
yeah,
remind me.
we'll have another. I've got like 10 more of these to go through, so this is gonna be the next like 8 shoutouts that I do.
Oh my god.
Oh Christ.
One of them will open the Japanese box. All right, Wyatt, it's your go.
All right. Well, I said mine was going to be kind of long, mostly because I just want to take you through the birthday present haul that I got because they're all
hell yeah.
wonderful. First of all, I have these dear friends of mine that make their own cards for people. So this is all handmade, and
Nice.
it's lovely and incredibly well made. So I wanted to shout out that first. This one requires a bit of an explanation. So one of my favorite movies, and this is a situation where like it's one of my favorite movies, but far and away not one of the best movies I've ever seen, right? We all have
Yeah.
some of those. I love Super 8 so much.
Very
I
fun
love that
movie.
movie.
Interesting.
It just speaks to me in ways that I can't fully describe. Here's the thing. Nobody gives a shit about that movie. No one talks about it. No one cares. I used to have a big poster in my bedroom of Super 8 because I love the movie that much, and I think the visuals of the poster are quite striking. But it ripped in a really bad way, and when I wanted to replace it, I wanted to get a really nice like canvas poster because they're trying to put them on canvas now. There is no canvas poster for Super 8 because no one gives a shit about Super 8 except for me. And so one of the presents I got from a friend was a small version of the poster signed by J.J. Abrams, which is
That's pretty
What?
awesome.
kind of crazy.
That's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
Ooh.
framed in everything. So that's pretty cool. That's
That's kind of
Alright.
wild.
yeah, right? So there's that. The other thing was a board game that I've been meaning to get for a while. Escape the Dark Sector. This
Ooh.
game
Heard good things.
Wyatt,
So I got this
literally
last
my
night.
shout out before I thought about it. Still in the copy. I bought this
Oh
last week.
My god.
So I played this for the first time this morning with my girlfriend. It's a 1 to 4 player game. It is so much fun and it will kick your fucking ass.
Gorgeous artwork
But it's
too.
super gorgeous artwork. It's this like white on black, very like sketchy kind of aesthetic that I love. Think like a dungeon crawler.
Well, I was
mixed with,
literally
like-
going to tell you after this episode about this game. I was like, oh, I just picked this up. I
God.
figured it would be a thing you would like.
Best part is they have, using a similar rule set, they have a Last of Us one that I want
cool.
very badly. But I love the artwork in this so much. Think like dungeon crawler mixed with like the aesthetics and the choices of like a choose your own adventure
Mm-hmm.
or like fighting fantasy. But the artwork in this is fantastic. It's very like scratchy and messy, like black and white, and it looks, I'm trying to get one where it has like an actual person on it. Here we go. And there's a bunch of like really cool flavor text. It's very immersive. And there's like different decisions you can make, and there's different characters that have different abilities and stuff like that. It's fantastic. So I played it for the first time this morning, and it's great, and I really really enjoy it. And then the other thing I got was kind of a two-parter. So first of all, I got the second edition upgrade for Deep Rock Galactic, the board game, which comes with updated rule books that are also much larger and much nicer material, which is sweet. Love that. And it also just a lot of quality of life stuff. But that also came with the Space Rig expansion. So this adds essentially its own version of the Space Rig from the game, where you can go and drink beer and stuff like that and do stuff with your buddies. But this also allows for campaign play. So you can basically do one mission, come back to the
That's sick.
Space Rig,
That's very cool.
and then upgrade your dwarves in between missions, and then go out on another mission again. It also adds the like on-site refinery missions with the pipes and everything, and it also adds the drill dozer mission with Doretta and everything like that, and some more rule changes and stuff, some new cards. Ugh, incredible, fucking incredible. So that was my present haul. I think I kind of lucked out this year.
Yeah,
So-
good haul, good haul.
It's absolutely stellar haul. Ryan, if we can figure out how to play this on Tabletop Sim,
That'd be pretty sick.
I absolutely want to play this with you at some point.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, that's our shoutouts list. So we'll see you next week. We got some Game Pass games to talk about, and probably whatever happens in the
Yes,
Switch 2
we do.
Direct. So
Yeah, I kind of imagine there will be a follow-up to this one.
yeah, we might be doing a split episode next week of the two.
It's a shame that I'm so busy on Wednesday, which is when the reveal or the Switch 2 event is
I will be
going
at
on.
work, so it's just that.
I have work, an appointment, and a whole other meeting, so it's just